Turkish Airlines EuroLeague in association with
Here now, in this game, one goal, one team. Fight for that possession, gotta act fast. Another shot, another pass. The city comes to life and they got something to say. Come on, let's go. I feel devotion.
The Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champions. The Turkish Airlines EuroLeague season.
Hello everyone and a very warm welcome to the Etihad Arena in beautiful Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, which is the epicenter of the basketball world. Because tonight, after the rigors of a 34-round regular season, the back and forth best-of-5 playoff series and the sudden death drama of single elimination semi-finals, the end of season extravaganza that is the Final Four culminates in the championship game as AS Monaco and Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul face off in the final. It's Fenerbahce who arrived first. Let's get the pre-game thoughts of their camp.
Well, I think there is a pressure. I think if you're not feeling the pressure for this type of situations, you're not human, you know. It's just about how we can handle it, how we come back from the bad moments and stay consistent for 40 minutes.
The biggest thing to take away is we have to master physicality, extremely aggressive. As I said a lot yesterday, Olympiacos mentioned it as the reason they lost, and Monaco emphasizing the reason why they won was try to be the aggressor. So if we want to have a chance at all, we have to match or exceed their physicality.
Well, in stark contrast to Fenerbahce, who swept Paris in the playoffs, Monaco were taking the 5-game distance in their battle against Barcelona, a terrific win yesterday against Olympiacos, and under the auspices of first-year head coach Vasilis Spanoulis, they arrive here in confident mood.
It's a championship game. Let's enjoy it, and I hope the best team to win, and I hope my team to be the best.
It's definitely going to be a different matchup, but defense wins championship. And if you bring that energy for 40 minutes and you being consistent defensively and you working out as a team, good stuff gonna happen.
So we are in Abu Dhabi at the Etihad Arena, and you join us live as the last two teams standing, Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul and AS Monaco, prepare for a basketball duel in the desert for the right to be called champions in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Well, as you just saw on the left-hand side of that graphic, this a rather recent rivalry. Remember, AS Monaco in just their 4th season in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Here is some bracketology as we introduce our team. My name's Ronald McIntosh, I'll be your lead commentator, and Joao Lucas, EuroLeague champion, EuroLeague legend, joins us for co-commentary and expert analysis. And Joe, different routes through the playoffs, each of them with surprisingly, seemingly comfortable victories in the semi-finals. As we take a look at the Fenerbahce roster, as a former champion yourself, give us a sense as to what the teams will be feeling and what they need to take care of in a bid to host the title this year.
Well, the first thing you're feeling here is nervousness, without a doubt, to start this game. Second of all, the most important thing to take care of is that ball. Both coaches preached about 50-50 balls. When we check out the AS Monaco roster, no changes from the other day. We're going to see Papagiannis, who played a big part in Game 5 of the playoffs, checks into the game. Wasn't in the other day, but you know, these two teams turned the big Greek finale into the big Greek funeral. Hey, you know, both of those Greek teams had to play the 3rd and 4th consolation game, but these two teams came here to play. Both of the coaches out-coached the other teams. Both of the teams outplayed the other teams, and both of these teams deserve to be exactly where they are tonight, Ron.
So the house lights lit in anticipation of what promises to be a spectacular pre-game show. You can see the stanchions surrounding the Jumbotron descending slowly down to the court. We got a shot a few moments ago of the two coaches, and what a storyline we have in those two.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we enjoy this
the
pre-game show.
championship game of the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four here in Abu Dhabi starts right now.
Hello, Moto.
The final on the road to glory is here, and it's time to meet the teams. Abu Dhabi, are you ready? Now, let's meet Fenerbahce, Beko, Istanbul. Number 0, Eric McCullum. 2, Wade Baldwin, the 4th. 4, Nicolo Melli. 5, Celtic Shanley. 11, Nigel Hayes Davis. 13, Tarek Biburovic. 20, Devin Hall. 21, Deshaun Pierre. 23, Marko Guduric. 44, Gilson Bango. 50, Bonzi Coulson. And 92, Cam Birch. Head coach, Sharunas Yesekavicius. Now, AS Monaco. 0, Elio Kobo. 4, Duran Blossom Game. 8, Jordan Lloyd. Number 9, Georgios Papagiannis. 10, Daniel Tice. 11, Alpha Diallo. Number 14, Mam Shaite. 22, Terry Turpie. 30, Vito Brown. 32, Matthew Strazel. 33, Nicolaithus. And 55, Mike Sheen. The head coach, Vasilis Spanoulis.
What a spectacular pre-game show, and as the teammates who claimed EuroLeague title in 2009 with Panathinaikos exchanged pleasantries and a pennant at half court, how significant is their input going to be, not only from a coaching standpoint in X's and O's, but having had the experience of being in this moment multiple times in their career and coming out on top when they were playing.
Well, I'll tell you what, as we look at the starting 5 for Fener, you got to think that both of these guys actually want the ball in their hand more than anything else. But Devin Hall had a huge game on Friday night. Guduric, who we know could play. Shout out Nigel Hayes Davis, who didn't put up the numbers we expect, and he's struggled a little bit in his Final Four. I expect him to come up big tonight as we look at the starting lineup for Monaco. Strasso, who's been playing great basketball. They have a trio of point guards with Kalatis Pat that control the game, and this is what I love about the way they play. Mike James is not a scorer anymore, my man. Forget that. He can take over a game and dominate it, but he can do it from different aspects of the game. He's always been a guy that distributes the ball, but now more so with Spanoulis as his head coach.
Well, during the regular season, he was number 4 in terms of assists distributed with 5.7 per game. In the playoffs, he upped that to 6.6 helpers per night, which led the playoffs in terms of sharing the basketball. The crew chief, Mr. Carlos Peruga, ahead of the 3 wise men taking control of this one. And again, their interpretation, their application of the rules going to be absolutely crucial, and it's down to the players to get on their wavelength as quickly as possible.
Well, look, the 2 teams that are sitting here tonight in this Final Four, in this final EuroLeague, I should say, are here because of their physicality. They both played a physical type of defense against their opponent, against Olympiacos, against Panathinaikos, and that's the reason why they're here.
And look at these Final Four records as players. Absolutely incredible. That's why they're part of the All-25. 3 championships for Vasilis Spanoulis with Pana in 2009, the back-to-back with Olympiacos in 12 and 13. 4 titles for coach Sarunas Yasekavicius with 3 different clubs, including teaming up with Vasilis Spanoulis for that 2009 triumph for the Greens.
Ron, the only thing I can bring up is what people don't understand about this sport is what Spanoulis said the other day to Fournier coming off the court when Fournier was crying. He's like, man, I played this game for 20 years. I only won 3 EuroLeague titles. I had 17 years of suffering. That's what this game is all about. You suffer much more than you have glory. And you learn from the suffering, and we're going to see who learned the most. Those two players are historic, but now they want to become historic as coaches.
So there is the game ball as the pre-game paraphernalia. All of the plinths removed from the court, and soon it will just be the starting fives and the 3 wise men in the orange and black jerseys in between the lines as we edge ever closer to the opening tip of the championship game of the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four. And what a battle of wits we have in store between two coaches who have done it all as players, and what an instant impact Coach Vasilis Spanoulis has made. Only took over the reins at the back end of last year at AS Monaco. Here he is seeking to emulate Željko Obradović, who took the title as a first-year coach for Partizan way back in '92.
Amazing numbers right here for both of these coaches. Both of them looking for their first title as a head coach. Spanoulis, a rookie. My man, it's time to run with the devil right here. Let's go.
Well, the Etihad Arena positively bouncing as the opening tip is up, and we are underway. 4 10-minute quarters of basketball to determine the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champions between AS Monaco and the 2017 titleists Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. Fenerbahce in their canary yellow trimmed with blue, AS Monaco in black and gold, and look at the physicality being applied by AS Monaco right from the jump on this opening defensive sequence.
You see it right there, and there's your first foul call early on in the first possession, but it's Monaco establishing the physicality defensively. Constant body contact, nothing for free. Hayes Davis there trying to get the ball with the mismatch on Strasso.
So inbounded to Guduric, it's Devon Hall working one-on-one against Mike James, taking it to his chest, tough turnaround, Jay way off the glass, rebound Mike James, and he is off and running. Almost looking to dispossess him is Kem Birch, and again we talked about, well, you emphasized the physicality that both of these teams have used to book their place in this championship game, and the officials, well, they've got a choice to make, because what you call in the first, you have to call in the fourth, and by definition, they can't call everything.
That's a quick 2 calls right there, a couple fouls in 30 seconds, so we'll see how these guys continue to call the game and how the players adapt to it.
Mike James with Devon Hall on his left-hand side, pulls up edge of the lane, rattles around the rim, rebound Guduric. Oh, that's a solid screen step by Nigel Hayes-Davis to slow down Strazel, and all of that opened up a gap in the defense, which allowed Guduric to go practically coast to coast for our first score of this championship game.
And that pick sets another tone altogether, Rod. That was a pick coming off the rebound, giving Guduric the lane to run the length of the floor and get a wide open look.
So Guduric sliding under the screen set by Tice, keeping it himself, going for the one-legged floater. It's Strazel, it's off the mark. Nigel Hayes-Davis with the rebound, and Fenerbahce looking for transition opportunities once again. Blossom game picks him up in the mid-post. Nigel Hayes-Davis backing him down into the lane, seeking to establish a rhythm. Turnaround Jay, short off the front iron, rugged defense by Jerome Blossom.
Let me tell you, Jerome Blossom is one of the most physical defenders in the EuroLeague by far. And he's bodying up against Nigel Hayes-Davis just like he needs to do to start this game.
Strazel receives it from James, rotates it to Alpha Diallo, one-on-one with Bonji Colson, takes him down to the lane, almost lost the basketball. Shot clock now in the red, pull-up three-pointer off the dribble, bottom. Alpha Diallo drills it from downtown, and he had a terrific performance in semi-final A. 22 points in the game in 30 minutes. With 0 of 3 from downtown, he's netted his first one tonight to give Monaco the lead.
Yeah, that's probably not the offense that they wanted right there, but he had to get that shot up and drains it.
Guduric driving aggressively, goes glass short of the mark once again as Monaco continue to do an outstanding job protecting the lane. It's Mike James as we see confirmation that AS Monaco had a sweep over Fener during the regular season, including that 30-point blowout in Istanbul as Mike James dribbles, hangs in the air and gets the floater to fall. It's 5 points in a row for AS Monaco. They lead by 3.
And Ron, James had 50 points in those 2 games, 29 in one of them. So he's able to score against this team, even though they lost those 2.
So Nigel Hayes-Davis spins the open baseline, gets the floater away before the help arrived. Daniel Tice committing a foul as he looked to contest the shot. Foul in the act of shooting will send Nigel Hayes-Davis to the free throw line for the first time tonight. And I think that's down to landing in the space of the shooter as he was descending back to earth.
Yeah, we're used to seeing that at the three-point line, Ron. It doesn't happen very often inside, but right there, Tice got underneath him, and they called the foul.
Well, look at that for a lineup of stars. There was Frank Ribery, French football icon, Tony Parker, French basketball icon, an NBA champ was there, Bogdan Bogdanovic, one of the All-25 EuroLeague team. So many stars in one shot. I'm not sure I clocked all of them, Joe.
You might have missed one or two, but I'm sure we'll see them again.
So there are the numbers for Nigel Hayes-Davis from the stripe. So Nigel Hayes-Davis calmly nets both to make it 14 consecutive free throws now for Nigel Hayes-Davis. He brings his team back to within one, ending that run of 5 points without reply from Monaco.
Look at that full court pressure Guduric just put on Strassel.
Beautiful cut down the lane, Tice dispossessed. Guduric off to the races. It's a 3-on-2. Running hard is Bonzi Colson, but Strassel with a terrific takeaway to dispossess the streaking forward and get possession straight back for AS Monaco. Pulls up for three off the feed from Diallo and drills it. The transition opportunity started by the hawkish on-ball defense of Strassel, and he finished it with a three from the wing.
He made a great play coming back on the defensive side, getting the steal and then running up and getting the three. James now with an open floor, watch out.
Pulls up from three and finds the bottom of the net. Mike James makes it back-to-back trifectas for AS Monaco. During the playoffs, he was number 5 in terms of three-pointers made, sinking 2.4 per game. And that makes it a 7-point lead for the team from the French Riviera. We've got an illegal screen, and if that's on Ken Birch, that is going to be foul number 2 in the first quarter on the Fenerbahce front court player.
It's an interesting call right there on Birch, off the ball foul on the screen. Strassel, you see, pulling up the three after the good defensive play, getting back on defense. So aggressiveness on one side, getting the three on the other side. Colson off to the bench now.
So Ken Birch did indeed pick up his second foul. Bonzi Colson has joined him on the bench. Tariq Baburovic, the offensive firecracker, looking to lock down Alpha Diallo and making him work to bring the ball over the halfway line. What footwork in the lane! And a fantastic finish from Alpha Diallo, dancing with the dribble on that tiptoe teaser down the lane beneath the free throw line to move to 5 points in the game.
To me, Ron, Diallo and Akobo are the two guys that are most important. You're going to get production from James, and you're going to get your work from all the rest of the guys. But these two guys are so important offensively for this team. Both games that they've had double figures when they've played against Fenerbahce, so they need to continue to play that way, be aggressive offensively. Sending Nigel Hayes-Davis back to the line one more time.
Well, he's the man who scored their most recent points, but that was some 8 points unanswered ago. After Monaco with back-to-back threes from Strassel, then James, and then that delightful drive and finish from Alpha Diallo. But Nigel Hayes-Davis continues his consistency from the charity stripe and ends that run of 8 unanswered points posted by AS Monaco.
It's interesting to see the difference in the stats of these two teams in the semifinal. Fenerbahce took 34 three-pointers in that game against Panathinaikos, while Monaco only went 17 three-pointers. They were 5 for 17, but they went inside a lot. 47 shots from inside the arc, so let's see if they keep pounding it inside.
Well, Strassel being buffeted and bumped as he brought the basketball over half, and Mike James trying to split the gap, but the door is closed by Devon Hall and Nicolo Maley. Mike James slow to get back to his feet. Maley down to the dots, kicks it back to the perimeter. Now Mike James back in the picture. On ball D against Guduric. Driving, offloading and finishing beneath the basket is Nigel Hayes-Davis. 6 points in a row for Fenerbahce. His first field goal of the night. Fener's second field goal of the evening. Reduces the arrears to 5 as we've got a whistle on the play, another illegal screen, and a little bit of extracurricular activity in terms of conversation between Matthew Strassel and Tariq Baburovic.
A little bit of composure from both teams. Baburovic, especially for his team, he's been so special through the playoffs and in that semifinal game that he doesn't need to lose his head right here early on, as the referees are going to try to separate things between the two of them. Look at Melly.
And equally, it's important to show that you're not going to be back down. You're not going to back down in any physical challenge. And Strazel, despite being the smaller dog in that battle, immediately stepping back and holding his ground against Guduric.
Ron, that's the boxer coming out of you right there, man. That's the boxer coming out of you right there. Don't ever back down. This is a final, man. This is a championship game. You can't tell anybody you're going to back down. But what you don't want to do, most importantly, Ron, is lose your composure. Sometimes these type of moments can take you out of the game mentally. Bogdanovic, he's had a great series, had a great Final Four so far. Got to keep his head.
Oh, we've got a technical foul. What's this?
Hey, this is the foul we call. Number 4. No, follow. Continue, please.
Let's watch 13 and 32.
So, on 13 for Fener and
32 Strazel.
32. Okay. We don't see any other thing. Okay.
To me, that's just fresh.
Okay. 13 and 32.
Yeah.
The rest are trying to calm down everybody. Okay. Let's go with that.
Continue with inbound.
Yes. Thank you.
So it looks as though we're going to have technical fouls assessed each way against Tarik Bogdanovic and Matthew Strazel. We'll bring you confirmation just as soon as we have it. We're just beyond the halfway stage of the opening quarter here in this championship game, and it's AS Monaco leading by 5. AS Monaco 13, Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul 8.
Tip-off is won by Fenerbahce. The lob inside for the reverse to Young Vesely. We saw that during the season, and you can't start a ball game any better. Popping it allowed to Milutinoff. A slam! Great teamwork by Olympiacos and the 22-year-old center. Bogdanovic open for 3. And of course it goes down. Bogdanovic. Fenerbahce Istanbul, the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champions.
So Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul in pursuit of their second title. Remember, they had that run of 3 straight finals appearances, prevailing at home in the Turkish metropolis of Istanbul. But there we see confirmation of the technical foul against Tarik Bogdanovic and Matthew Strazel. And for Strazel, Joe, because in the EuroLeague technical fouls are personal fouls, that's 2 on him already.
That's exactly the point, Ron. We talked about this just during that promo. Strazel, it's just a big mistake by him. Can't get a second foul early on. We're going to see how long that Coach Spanulis sticks with him. He's still on the floor right now with 2 fouls.
So Mike James, one-on-one with Devon Hall. There's a battle down low as Mike James pulls up for 3. Devon Hall gets a hand in his face, and the shooters roll, favoring Mike James, the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague's all-time leading scorer in his first appearance in his championship game. In this, his 3rd trip to the Final Four, moves to 8 points in the game on perfect shooting from downtown. Devon Hall looks to respond and answers by drilling his first 3-pointer of the night. He was outstanding in the semi-final.
That's a bit more of a traditional 3 than what we saw out of Mike James, who got the shooter's touch. That's called the King James touch right there. As Strazel now is going to head off to the bench, I believe.
And Strazel, who is such an outstanding defender, we saw him bag that steal, and he really has the ability to hawk the basketball and climb inside the ball handler's jersey, making him work all 94 feet. But we're unlikely to see him for the remaining 4 minutes and change of this first quarter. So Devon Hall offloads to Nigel Hayes-Davis. Jerome Blossomgame bodying him up from behind as they do battle physically on the 3-point line. Into a crowd, over the head feed, out to the corner. Tarik Bogdanovic off left, rebound Blossomgame.
Good rebound right there by Blossomgame, trying to get the roll now. Melly doing what he did the other night. Look at him play defense back and forth.
Daniel Tice feels the contact, spins off it. Remember, those two men were teammates at Broza Bamberg. They're going to know all of one another's tendencies. And Daniel Tice, such an outstanding finisher in and around the lane.
That's a gorgeous move by Tice right there, using the left hand on the opposite side.
So Hall deep into the hard-to-beat Monaco defense, driving from the perimeter. Kicks to the corner, Guduric set his feet for the three. He's lost the basketball, gift wrapped into the hands of Elie Okobo after the deflection from Alpha Diallo. Terrific on-board D once again by AS Monaco as Diallo sets his feet, lets the three-pointer go. Almost caught in two minds whether to go glass or straight, and what a save from Nigel Hayes-Davis. Hitting the deck without hesitation to save the basketball for his team and ensure that they have possession. Leaving his feet to pass, catching on the cut is Nicolo Melli. Alpha Diallo will be called for the foul that will send Nicolo Melli to the free throw line.
What about putting your body in the line right here? Nigel Hayes-Davis, look out. Look at him look down at the line. He sees the line, he knows his feet are fine. And then he gets a little look to see, where am I going to save it? We've talked about this all the time. You always save it to the corner. You never save it over and underneath the basket. Incredible play by Nigel Hayes-Davis, putting his body in the line in what is the moment to put your body on the line. The championship game of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
Shout out to the camera operators because they captured that image perfectly. Not only did we see the hustle, we saw the eyes of Nigel Hayes-Davis checking where the baseline was, taking in the panoramic view to see where his teammate was, where the lines were, and he guided it expertly. Terrific work all round. Nigel Hayes-Davis out on the floor, the camera operators doing sterling work.
How much you can do physically and mentally in just a split second of that moment, knowing where you are on the floor. Of course, these guys know where they are. They know what they're doing. They've done it a million times before. Ron Melli missing two free throws right here. Fener lucky to come up with the rebound.
Wade Baldwin checking the options as he goes for the floater and bottoms it. Wade Baldwin so effective either on the drive or the pull-up in mid-range. His opening points of the game reduces the arrears to 5.
Ron, he's so impressive in the lane, man. He's like so old school still. He doesn't mind taking that two-pointer, kissing off the glass, and sticking it from the middle of the lane.
Mike James downhill against Wade Baldwin. Wade Baldwin hand up to contest the shot. Mamjaite got a hand on the basketball, but couldn't control it. And we've got a tech. Now, is this against Coach Bernulis or the bench? Yeah, but a technical foul has been issued.
Well, I don't know.
Will result in a free throw for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul.
You do not want to be an assistant coach that gets that technical foul right now, Coach Bernulis. They are not allowed to get up off of that bench.
Well, it seems as though the technical foul has been assessed against Elie Okobo. So Nigel Hayes-Davis, a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line in this championship game so far. 16 consecutive free throws made in recent history for Nigel Hayes-Davis. 4 points to deficit. He's rising high to wrap up the rebound. Here's Jerome Blossomgame. Okobo. Okobo keeps his dribble alive, then hangs in the air to offload to Mamjaite. Armbar applied by Nicolo Melli. Mamjaite down beneath the defensive semicircle. Can't find a finish. He'll be frustrated by that. Hanging tough with Nicolo Melli, but Mamjaite taking up terrific position courtesy of good footwork.
Yeah, Melli played great defense, keeping him away from the basket, not letting him get too close, and making him go back to his left.
So Baldwin squares up against Jordan Lloyd. Gets beneath the free throw line. Jordan Lloyd probing with active hands. Guduric bulldozes Mike James out of the way, gets into the lane and gets the friendly roll after the ball rattles around the rim. He makes it a one-possession affair.
Yeah, I think after the double technical foul, that's a big basket for Guduric. He missed his first 3 of the game, and now he needs to feel a little bit of confidence. What a pick by Okobo right there on Melli. Physical contact everywhere, Ron.
So James being forced left by Wade Baldwin the 4th. Elie Okobo, sidestep mid-range J from the baseline, off the front iron. Mamjaite, terrific work with the offensive rebound. Could only offload it into the hands of Eric McCollum. And now Nigel Hayes-Davis, one-on-one with Jordan Lloyd, with Jerome Blossomgame. Off the back iron. Rebound Nicolo Meili on the offensive glass.
Those are the things that Melly does, Ron.
So Nigel Hayes-Davis with a mobility advantage over Mam Jaite. Jaite out on an island, hand up to contest the shot, off the back iron. Rugged rebound on the inside, Elie Okobo. So wondering whether AS Monaco would go for a 2-for-1 here. Okobo keeping his dribble alive, wrap around feed to Blossom game, jab step baseline into the middle, shoulder fake baseline, turns middle and gets the floater to fall. Terrific touch draw on Blossom game. Ends the run of 5 points without reply posted by Fenerbahce.
Man, I love this kid's game, man. He's just so physical on both sides of the floor. Even offensively, he punishes you when he gets to the basket.
So the shot clock not a factor as we count down the closing seconds of the first quarter. It's Jordan Lloyd waiting at the hash marks for Wade Baldwin. Wade Baldwin with the dribble into the edge of the lane. He's gone behind the backboard. Offensive rebound, Nicolo Meili. Now, did this foul come before the end of quarter buzzer? I think that it did.
Well, if it did, that's a 15 foul for Monaco. That's going to give Meili 2 free throws. Remember, he just missed 2 a minute ago. So Meili will go back to the line.
Mam Jaite called for the first. Another legend in the house, Dino Roger.
No, foul and a quarter. Foul and a quarter.
No basket before expiration of time. Change the label, please.
So keep an eye on the clock above the backboard and the red light as well. Nicolo Meili fighting for his second offensive rebound in a short space of time, and that just underlining how important extra rebounds are.
Yeah, when these coaches talk about 50-50 balls, they don't talk about the balls that are on the floor and the loose balls. They're talking about those balls that are up in the air, the rebounds. Meili got one already in that same possession, and now he's going to get 2 free throws for his aggressiveness. It's going to pay off for his team. Fenerbahce, who struggled here in this first quarter, possibly pull within 2 with Meili going to the line. Oh, he did miss 2 a minute ago.
In stark contrast, AS Monaco have yet to make a single trip to the free throw line, but they have been shooting the basketball very effectively, particularly from three-point territory, from where they are 4 of 5. So having missed his first 2, Nicolo Meili back to the stripe. Gets the first to 4. So Nicolo Meili makes both to make it a 1-possession affair. Deshaun Pierre, defensive specialist, checking in as Nigel Hayes-Davis takes a seat on the sideline. 1 second remaining. Will a quarter court heave be launched? Elie Okobo can't get it off, and so the first quarter in the book in this 2025 championship game, and it is a 1-possession encounter at the end of 10. It's AS Monaco with a 2-point lead. AS Monaco 20, Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul 18. Well, some of the highlights from the first quarter. The first score was netted by Fenerbahce, but thereafter it's Monaco who have had their noses in front, shooting the basketball very effectively.
Yeah, especially from outside the arc, they're 4 for 5. I talked about the fact that they went inside 47 times on Friday night in their semifinal game, so I don't expect them to continue hitting from deep as much and not penetrating to the basket, trying to get a little bit more to the foul line. There's 0 for the foul line, which is pretty typical when you take that many threes in a 10-minute span. So let's see them get a little bit more physical offensively in the second quarter, but right now they're doing just fine, and Fenerbahce hanging in with them.
So it is dead even in the battle on the boards. AS Monaco, one of the better teams, are taking care of the basketball, committing just 4 first quarter turnovers, which is uncharacteristic in that regard. But again, in the most important stat, there's just 2 points in it.
Well, Fenerbahce talked about the fact in a couple losses, Nigel Hayes-Davis, your best performer here the first quarter to 7 points. They talked about the fact that turnovers and mistakes down the stretch of the games that they played during the season hurt them. Guduric, who had 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists in a round 30 game, also had 6 turnovers ago, then a couple big ones at the end of the game. The team had 12 assists and 17 turnovers in that game. So that's something they need to change. They need to know that the ball is gold, and they need to have every possession be important as Kalaitis checks in the game at the end of the first. And they make some big plays when Kalaitis is in there, man. You're going to see them start zipping that ball around. You and I talked about this beforehand. The velocity in their passes get their shooters wide open.
So Jordan Lloyd being double-teamed, and now Eric McCollum all over him as he offloads to Eliakobo. Look where he's setting up the half-court offense from, practically the halfway line. Eliakobo, ball didn't leave his hands once he received it. Mid-range Jay short, terrific offensive rebound down at knee height, secured by Mam Jaite.
I'll tell you what hurts right there when you're a Fener. That was, you called it during he was bringing it up. That's incredible defense all the way up the floor. And then you give up a tough shot, you defend well, and you give them an offensive rebound, and you get a foul, and now another possession for Monaco. Fener's got to convert, and they have to take advantage of those great defensive opportunities within those 24 seconds.
AS Monaco, second best in the EuroLeague in terms of taking care of the basketball. Commit just 10.8 turnovers per game. And they committed 4 in the first quarter. Tough 3 attempted by Jordan Lloyd. Mam Jaite with another offensive rebound. Double team near the baseline. He puts the ball on the floor intelligently.
They sit around, they're playing great defense,
Jaite,
and they're giving up offensive rebounds.
Passes out of a double team. Mam Jaite with another offensive rebound as he continues to feast on the boards at the offensive end.
He's just a beast down low. He's so hard to block out. Even when you feel as though you have him blocked out and you have the position, he doesn't stop going after the rock.
Well, there's the 5 on the floor to begin the second quarter for AS Monaco as Eliakobo spins off Wade Baldwin the 4th. Nick Kalaitis stands still 3, rattles around the rim, and Wade Baldwin finally secures possession. Did a good job to offload the basketball before he sailed over the sideline. Now Nigel Hayes-Davis playing point forward. Wade Baldwin being shadowed by Jordan Lloyd. He offloads to Nigel Hayes-Davis. McCollum rotates it to Hayes-Davis. Eliakobo showing him the baseline. Mam Jaite lurking to help. Passes out of the mid-post. Rotated. Nicolo Meli for 3. Short and off left. And Mam Jaite says, gimme that, as he hauls in another rebound. His 5th of the game in just 3 minutes on the floor. Now that's a push-off from Jerome Blossomgame, and it may well have been stalled a little bit by Eric McCollum.
Well done by McCollum right there. As you see, Blossomgame, he does get the push in the back, though. It's a little bit of, you might get an award for that. But nonetheless, there was a push. That would be Blossomgame's first foul.
So Daniel Tice checking back into the game. Mam Jaite taking a seat on the sidelines, but what a shift he produced for AS Monaco in the time that he was on the floor. Gobbling up everything that came off the board, particularly at the offensive end, where he snared 4 extra possessions for his club.
It was all in 4.5 minutes of play, too. Around 5 rebounds and a lot of aggressiveness that he put out on the floor.
McCollum working the dribble, pushes it in front into the space, keeps it himself. Baseline Jay's off the mark. Rising high for the rebound is Jordan Lloyd, and he's pushing aggressively down this left sideline. Jordan Lloyd drives, goes baseline, taken away by the big body of Sertat Chandler. Maybe credited with a block, he barely left his feet, but Jordan Lloyd practically running into a telegraph pole, and then the 3-pointer drilled by Wade Baldwin.
There's a gorgeous pass by McCollum in the fast break, finding his trailers in the fast break, getting in the middle lane, converging the defense, and kicking out the ball for a wide open 3.
So just as they open the first quarter scoring as the 3-point riposte from Daniel Tice, he has that ability to stretch the floor 40% from downtown this season.
He's so dangerous on the pick and pop. He sets a big pick on the pick and roll. He steps out. Shanley does the same thing here, but doesn't receive the rock.
So Deshaun Pierre passes from the sideline to Baldwin. Guduric. Oh, shakes off Kalaitis with the crossover. Pulls up for 3. Daniel Tice secures the rebound with strength on the inside. So Fenerbahce's lead short-lived. They got the first score of the game as Thijs fakes the three-pointer, runs into Chandler, who half bit on the pump fake.
Well, that's what happens, Ron, when you make one. When you get that pick and roll, you step back and make one. Tyson's got the advantage. You see the fake coming. Chandler's got nothing to do on that one. Can't catch up to him on a second one. Pumps the fake, gets to the basket, and the foul.
Another legend in the house, Mr. Vladi Divac. Enjoying what is a competitive first half here in this championship game. It's a one-possession affair. Akobo orchestrating things from near the half-court logo. Alpha Diallo working against Deshaun Pierre, takes him down to the dots, fading to his right. Oh, and he goes glass and finds the bank open here in Abu Dhabi. Terrific touch from Deshaun Pierre, from Alpha Diallo, takes him to 7 points in the game.
I tried all day on Friday to get cash out of the bank wasn't open for me, but it is for Diallo. I think he did that the other day too in the semifinal game. He had one in the penetration through the lane and the floater that also went off the glass.
So Elie Akobo trying to poke the basketball away from behind. He's called for the foul.
Akobo offensively has been quiet. He's playing some good defense on the ball, but offensively he's quiet as we see that play one more time. Well defended by Fener.
So spot of housekeeping. It was announced that the foul was against, the technical foul was against Elie Akobo. But that was indeed his first foul as he tried to poke the basketball away from behind. And the technical foul was assessed against the AS Monaco bench. That technical foul where Nigel Hayes-Davis duly sunk the free throw to take Fenerbahce to 14 points in the game, trailing by 4.
And I don't want to be that assistant coach at halftime, man.
So Jordan Lloyd lost his footing. It left Eric McCollum open. Rattles around the rim. And Daniel Thijs with an expressive rebound. Nick Calathes, the EuroLeague's all-time leader in assists and steals, orchestrating things. What a feed inside. Alpha Diallo, tough reception and wonderful touch on the interior. Back-to-back buckets for Alpha Diallo, takes him to 9 points in the game on perfect shooting from two-point territory. His team lead by 6.
I was just going to say Calathes is most dangerous when he pulls that ball back out off the fast break and he lets everybody else set because it's that 2-3 seconds where the defense relaxes and Calathes finds his big man in the lane for a wide open layup.
So we've got a timeout on the floor. AS Monaco have stitched together 7 points without reply. 27-21 the score. So the Turkish Airlines flight time play of the game comes on a pull-up three-pointer in transition from way beyond the arc. Elevating to terrific height, hanging in the air, releasing at the apex of his jump. The Turkish Airlines flight time play of the first quarter comes on a jumper and not a race to the rim for a slam dunk.
He's only getting half miles for that, man. I think that's our first time this season we've seen the Turkish Airlines come up on a jumper, but we know how explosive Mike James is, especially pulling up on the three. So give him some love, give him a couple miles. He's not getting in the lounge though. Not with that shot.
Sandra Ambrosio in the house enjoying the basketball here at the Etihad Arena. Stars from all walks of life. Remember, Bill Murray was in attendance last year in Berlin. You remember that?
I heard he was walking down the street and someone told him there's a basketball game going on and he came over and hung out. I've hung out with Bill a couple times, man. He's one of my favorite people in the world. Stripes is my favorite movie when I was a kid. Caddyshack also. Shout out to Bill Murray if you're watching.
So handling the basketball is Devon Hall. Ken Birch, who picked up 2 first quarter fouls, dumps it down to the mid-post where Nigel Hayes-Davis begins to operate against his fellow number 11, Alpha Diallo, off the mark. Tough D, Alpha Diallo, rebound. Daniel Thijs once again ensuring that it's one and done for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul.
Good job of stopping Nigel Hayes-Davis. He's got 5 points of his 7 from the line.
Jordan Lloyd got his feet set. That's a pretty looking jumper. What an offensive rebound. The stick back doesn't fall for Alpha Diallo, but he is dynamism personified here in the first half at the Etihad Arena. He is everywhere. So Devon Hall has used his dribble, needs a receiver to help him out. Ken Birch beyond his shooting range, lets it go from around 15 short, and that is not the shot that Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul wants.
Which is exactly.
What a bounce pass. Beautiful ball moving on the inside. Finish can't be found by Jordan Lloyd, but Nick Calathes beginning to pull the strings from that point guard position.
I'm telling you, when they're on the break, you can see it, the velocity in their passes, the way they find open players on the break. Calathes did it before with the hesitation, the pullback. You see these guys. You earn this championship, man. I mean, it's 34 games throughout the season. It's the playoffs, the 5-game playoffs. So when you get in the final game, it's as physical as can be. There's no easy baskets. James coming in for the shooter.
Looks as though Jordan Lloyd has sustained a little bit of a blood injury, but not enough for him to be forced to take a seat on the sidelines. And Jordan Lloyd, outstanding free throw shooter. Vasilija Micic, EuroLeague champion, another member of the All-25 EuroLeague team. Those players celebrated and commemorated during festivities here at the Final Four. And what a lineup it was. He very much a part of that.
One of the biggest three-point shots in EuroLeague history against Olympiacos, man. That was just one of the crazy shots. And then the whole fallback with the spread eagle, man, it was just like Hollywood.
In his hometown.
In his home, exactly.
At what was then the Stark Arena, is now the Belgrade Arena. Anadolu Efes Istanbul en route to back-to-back titles. Fenerbahce president Mr. Ali Koch in attendance. His team currently on the wrong end of a run of 9 points without reply. Put on the board by Monaco, driving and getting to the goal to bring that run. And this unanswered points to an end is Guduric.
Ron, it's an issue for Monaco when Calathes is on the floor. He was taken to the basket various times in his semifinal against Evan Fournier, and right there Guduric takes advantage of it. So they know that when he's on the floor, they're going to attack him offensively and make him play defense.
So Alpha Diallo shakes off Nicolo Meli with the step back and drills the subsequent wide open three. Outstanding handle, delightful footwork from Alpha Diallo, who is on fire in this first half. 2 out of 3 from downtown. And look at the room he creates with the behind the back dribble, the step back, and drops the three-pointer in Nicolo Meli, who was attempting to close out, but ultimately in vain.
Well, I'll tell you what, Meli did a great job of pulling off to the side of him, because if he gets any further underneath him, that's an and one with the foul. But what a play by Diallo to step back on that three and create so much distance from his defender.
So Wade Baldwin with a mismatch against Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice giving him room. They dump it down into the low post where Meli has a mismatch against Elie Kobo. Back out to the corner. Wade Baldwin short on the three. In the land of the Giants, Devon Hall rips down the offensive rebound. Nick Calathes commits the foul. It's on the ground. It will be possession for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. So there is Franck Ribéry, not just a former French national team football player. That man very much an icon of both international and continental club football. Here enjoying the Final Four championship game. And there's Eric McCollum's brother. Made his way over with Fenerbahce, currently suiting up for the New Orleans Pelicans. Who's the better shooter in the family?
I gotta go with CJ, man. I got to. That guy could drill it, but...
And Nicolo Meli is drilling it from downtown. He was outstanding in the semi-final for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. Has played sparingly during the course of the season overall, but in semi-final being 9.6 rebounds, an assist and a block. He was simply sensational in the win to depose Panathinaikos as champions. Tice catches in a crowd, swatted away by Nigel Hayes-Davis. And now Nigel Hayes-Davis with a size advantage against Elie Kobo. Beautiful bounce pass to Wade Baldwin. Passes from beneath the bucket out to Guduric, off the iron. Battered against the backboard, but Daniel Tice squeezed it most tightly of all.
And Baldwin a little too unselfish right there. I thought it an easy layup on a beautiful dish from Nigel Hayes-Davis down low. Baldwin kicks out instead for the three-pointer, but Baldwin's got to take that down low.
Elie Kobo blows by Nicolo Meli, gets to the goal, doesn't get the shooter's roll. Ball touched last by Fenerbahce.
And this is one of you're looking at it, Kobo. Kobo's so important to this team when he scores. Monaco plays so much better and plays with so much more confidence. You see the block there by Hayes-Davis. But right now, Kobo 0 for 3 from the floor. A couple assists to go with it. But they really need him to score.
Mike James, corner 3, air ball, well defended by Devon Hall, and Devon Hall has got the step on Mike James, who's just getting back into the half-court defensive set now. Jerome Blossomgame bodying up against Nigel Hayes-Davis. Hayes-Davis into lane, what a spin! Oh, that is sensational! And immediately Coach Vasilis Spanoulis calls timeout to try and stem this tide of momentum that has been established by Fenerbahce, that has got their fans up on their feet here at the Etihad Arena. What a move by Nigel Hayes-Davis to spin off Jerome Blossomgame in a flash after the pump fake sent him airborne.
Young people watch that footwork. That was amazing. I knew that was happening. You knew that was coming, Ron, because he gave it up the way Baldwin earlier, and Baldwin decided to kick it out instead. This time, Nigel Hayes-Davis said, I'm taking this on my own, and makes one of the best moves we've seen in the game.
So, Fenerbahce in the midst of a run of 5 unanswered points. Coach Spanoulis has called timeout.
Devon, wait, lob for Kemp. Devon, you go, you get here. Nigel, you here, stay high. Wait, get the asses off of you. Devon will come and hit lob. Nico, mantiene che ti back. Hey, shoot
Well, Nigel Hayes-Davis just produced a delightful score down in the low post. 9 points in the game to lead his team in scoring, but that replay just epitomizing the type of hustle, as did that type block on the defensive end. He's getting it done in more ways than just scoring tonight.
Look at that spin cycle move right there, Nigel Hayes-Davis. Knowing how physical Blossomgame is, he took the contact a couple times and found his moment to put the pump fake on and the spin. Hayes-Davis still, I mean, when I interviewed him on the crossover, the first thing he talked about was the cat that he adopted from the arena. And now he's everywhere with that cat, man. You gotta love this kid.
So Matthew Strazel back into the game after picking up 2 first-quarter fouls, one of which was a technical after he and Tarik Baburovic got a little bit physical after the whistle to stop a play. Oh, slapped away by Ken Birch as Matthew Strazel attempts to take it into the interior. Ken Birch saying, you're gonna have to pay this toll, and that is a block shot slapped over the baseline to deny that field goal attempt.
Well, Ron, what's your exchange when you put Strassel in the game? There's Akobo looking for his first points of the game. Strassel, or you have Kalates. You got better defense with Strassel, a little bit more aggressiveness and energy, but Kalates has got that better in leadership.
So Nigel Hayes-Davis down to the dots, doesn't get the touch on the floater. Now who touched that last? It will remain Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul ball.
Well, you know Nigel Hayes-Davis is not happy about missing that shot. That's an easy one for him. It's Tony Parker. I don't even know why we put French basketball legend down there. It's just basketball legend in general.
NBA champ with the Spurs, heading up LDLC Asvel Villeban in their ownership group with Mike James. Kicks it back out to Daniel Tice. Mike James one-on-one with Wade Baldwin. Wade Baldwin checking his shoulders, anticipating the screen. And now Daniel Tice slides down to the low block. Mike James one-on-one crosses up Guduric. That floater will not count. Whistle sounded, foul on the ground. Intriguingly poised in this second quarter. Bogdan Bogdanovic, not only an all-25 EuroLeague team member, a key component of that 2017 EuroLeague victory that Fenerbahce put together on home court.
And he was a key component of everything that led up to that victory too, because they lost in Madrid in 2015, and they just went through that process, and he was such an important part of it because he was so young at the time. And Coach Obradovic just kind of pushed him through the process, as he did with Guduric and other players. I mean, he's just got one of those coaches that brings up these young guys, teaches them how to play, and puts them in these positions. They're all over the place, man.
Yeah, Rudy in the house. 3-time champion Rudy Fernandez.
I told Rudy I'm going to talk about his wife. Hella was an international model. You know, I'm like, Rudy, next time you come out on the screen, I'm going to start talking about your wife instead of you. It's his weekend, though.
So Mike James uses the dribble to escape Ken Birch. Ken Birch extends his arm the furthest to pick up the basketball. Matthew Strazel trying to deflect his offload. So Devon Hall using the screen from Nigel Hayes-Davis. And now there's a mismatch for Devon Hall in terms of mobility. Drives baseline, dumps it off to Wade Baldwin, who holds off Elie Okobo, doesn't get the touch. But what a follow on the inside, Ken Birch. We said that when he shot from the free throw line, which was a wide open mid-range, Jay. That isn't the shot you want Ken Birch taking for Fenerbahce, but this type of work is precisely what you want him doing.
That's exactly what you want, the dirty work, man. Get him around the basket, get those garbage baskets, get it off the rim, put it back in if you can. If you can tap it in, even better. You don't have to come down with it and worry about any of those little rats down there trying to get the ball from you.
7-0 run by Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul brings them back to within a single score.
Guys, be careful, Bush or James. Half. They did it half at some point. Hey, if it's half, we attacking them here. Nigel, wherever they are, we attacking them here. Stopping the ball. If you guarding James, you're going under. But the big man, you have to stop the ball.
Well, a lot has been made of the matchup of the coaches over on the sidelines, and as you would expect from two guys who won multiple titles as players, they are living every possession in their suits and ties here at the Etihad Arena.
And these are two emotional guys, no matter what it is. They're showing way more emotion as coaches than they ever did as players, man. As players, the only emotion you was worried. Look at Tony in the house, too. Tony's looking good, man.
No doubt. Lethal with that left hand. One of the
Man, it was
pioneers of
so
that stretched point forward position.
Yugo-plastic at time, man. That left hand, so smooth. I played against him when he was in Benetton Treviso. Him and Vinny Del Negro on the same team, and they were just, it was lethal.
So possession AS Monaco, three-quarter court pressure being applied by Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. The two men who picked up technicals in the first half, resuming their duel here in the desert of Abu Dhabi. As Tarik Baburovic pursuing Maciej Strazel. They dump it down to Mamjite, bodies hitting the floor in a real wreck in and around the lane, and I think it's Tarik Baburovic who's going to be called for the foul. He was bowled over. The technical foul was his first. Let's see who the foul is against.
Chate is just causing havoc down there in the lane.
It's Nigel Hayes-Davis who is hit with the foul. Mamjite back out onto the floor, and what an impact he made, particularly on the offensive boards in just over 4 minutes in the first quarter. And Mamjite makes the free throw. Sent an element of surprise in my voice. It's because it's not his most profitable place to score from. 64%. There's confirmation.
Big run. 64% is not that bad.
But it's 59% for a career, so it is trending in the right direction.
There you go. There you go.
And in semi-final, he was 3 out of 3 from the stripe. He's only 1 out of 2 here.
He's not going to be happy with you after this game.
So that breaks the run of 7 straight points put on the board, and rising up and ramming it home is Devon Hall. The penetration from the perimeter, exploding into the paint, planting both feet and rocking the rim with a one-fisted flush.
We saw one the other night when it was a little bit different, where he hung in a little bit more. This time, he throws it back and finds a lane down the middle, splitting the sea. That's just nasty.
So Devon Hall seeing the lane open up in front of him and taking full advantage with this aggressive drive to the rack.
And he's a lefty, Ron. He's a lefty. That's a big move for a left-handed guy, coming with that right hand and cock it back like that and throw it down.
So it's a 1-point game in the closing seconds of this second quarter.
Watch out the double screen. We play switch, pin downs, and switch pick and rolls. We switch to deny. Okay, watch out, head off here for shooter. Switch the head off. Switch going on. Hey, don't get distance. Follow and switch. Hey, now, Nigel Hayes maybe. He will take the ball and he will go for Ghost. Hey, for Ghost. Okay. Let's go, man. Find the guys, let's go. Let's go.
So closing seconds of this first half. Wade Baldwin with the dribble, working on Eliakobo, gets to his spot, let's go, the one-legged floater, the tip beats the end of quarter buzzer, and we've got a foul on the play as well. Terrific tenacity on the offensive glass demonstrated by Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. We'll see them take the lead for just the third time in the game, and they will have an extra shot from the free throw line to come, and it's that man once again, Devon Hall, in the thick of the action. Look at the way he's able to contort and control his body, eyes always on the rim as he's being dragged back down to earth by gravity. Outstanding work, not putting out his hands to break it fall, landing on his right foot, then his glutes, and he gets the basket to fall, and a trip to the free throw line forthcoming. What a play.
And all that knowing exactly how much time was on the clock. There's no way he was able to come down with that ball. He had to get it out of his hands ASAP. He did that, gets a three-point play, finishing his Fener the first lead.
So Devon Hall with 5 points in a row, and that concludes the first half of this championship game here at the Etihad Arena. A real nip and tuck affair. Fenerbahce netted the first score of the game. They netted the first score of the second quarter. Those were their two leads, but they have edged a low-scoring second period by 4, 13-17 in their favor, which means at the halfway stage of the 2025 championship game in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague, we have a halftime score of AS Monaco 33, Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul 45-35. This one intriguingly poised with the second half to come in just a few moments' time from Abu Dhabi. Well, let's hear from the man of the closing moments of the first half. Here's Devon Hall.
Devon, this Fenerbahce team has a motto, the next man up. That was you in the last minute of that second quarter.
I mean, yeah, it's like that right now, but obviously we've been giving up too much easy ones, second chance points, so if we can stop that, we'll put ourselves in a better position.
Thank you, Devon. Enjoy your halftime break.
So Devon Hall, 8 points in the game. He's hit his only three-pointer. He made the free throw to complete a three-point play. And his field goals, a dynamite dunk and a terrific putback.
Man, the first half worthy of a championship game. Nothing to pick between these two teams.
I think they are right now a little bit more aggressive than us, so up to us to pick it up. And if we find a way to be more aggressive, we're going to give us big chances to win.
Thank you. Have a good half.
So Mam Jaite, outstanding on the boards.
Turkish Airlines, Motorola, BKT, Experience Abu Dhabi, and Adidas. Official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
Well, some of the highlights from what has been a hard-fought first half. Mike James outstanding in the first quarter. Alpha Diallo distributing, Matthew Strathel able to connect from the wing. He picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter, one of them a tech.
Yeah, difficult check for Strathel and a little mix-up with Babarovic, but you know, both these teams are playing just a physical type of defense. This is a typical final championship game. Last year we had a little bit more offensive explosion between Real Madrid and Panathinaikos. This year it goes back to old school where we're in the 30s right here at halftime. Both teams fighting it out, using the physicality in their body defensively, and especially with the aggressiveness around the boards. Both teams pulling out offensive rebounds, and Devon Hall having a huge end of the second quarter.
That was the dunk. This was the field goal, and he followed it with a free throw to make it a 3-point play. Devon Hall netting the final 5 points of the half to give his team a 2-point lead. So there, a look inside the numbers. AS Monaco, 4 turnovers in the first quarter, 3 in the second. Fenerbahce doing an outstanding job taking care of the basketball, and their bench more prolific in terms of putting the ball in the basket as well.
Olympiacos Piraeus play against Panathinaikos here. Well, Sasha Vezenkov is in the mood to fill it up tonight. Vezenkov, a little show and go. Peters. Got it.
Alec Peters with the third three-pointer.
Right now, Georgia Olympiacos 5 for 6 from behind the arc. They shot just 18%. Oh! Omer Yurtseven's in the house! There's none. In the open court. Nice backdoor cut by Nunn. Sprays it. Yeah, delicious basketball by Panathinaikos and Samadov.
Another look at the slam bam jam by Moses Wright.
Olympiacos have dominated this game. We've only had one lead change. As you see the three from Alec Peters. He's been so hot, 25 points for Peters, 5 of 6 from behind the arc. Good response by Jetty Osman. Here's Sabin Lee with the ball in his hands. That's another bomb. Vezenkov lets fly, and he knocks down the three. Good kick here to Larantzakis. Let's fly, got it. The three. Brown to Lesor. Oh, behind the back. Can Larantzakis make it? Wouldn't fall.
Look at him hustling for the ball and getting the alley-oop pass to Yurtseven.
Oh, what a great feed. Great execution. Yurtseven with the easy stuff. Over the top. Yurtseven and Brown misread each other. It's a turnover, and this game is in the books. The derby of the eternal enemies here in Abu Dhabi. Olympiacos extend their win streak to 9 games in a row on the EuroLeague stage.
What a way to set the tone, the 2.20 soaring Swigo. Three-point shot is good for Lonate, who is missing nothing. Karem on the bounce up high, not too high for Swigo. Picked off by Mikalauskas. Down the floor and rising to rock the Rakic Dom Burgas, and Žalgiris are back within 4. Boyka, far side, Mikalauskas, another in front of the bench for the lead.
Same exact play.
From 12 down. Bulanovas to double the lead, and from 12 down, Žalgiris lead by 6. Off the back of Boyka's turnover, Malak come forward and after 5 minutes of the second half get their first score. Currents! The burst down the baseline, and that lit the fuse to detonate the dunk. Lonate hits his first 3 of the second half as they close a 10-point gap to just 2. Back to Currents again. Can he hit a 3? Yes, he can, right on cue. Boyka, the big shot. Žalgiris, with their trademark perennial underdog DNA, go all the way as a wild card team here in Abu Dhabi. Žalgiris players full of talent,
trophy? There you go.
full of belief, and now ready to lift their first trophy in 18 years at this competition. Žalgiris are the champions of the Adidas Next Generation EuroLeague 2025.
Turkish Airlines, Motorola, BKT, Experience Abu Dhabi, and Adidas. Official global sponsors in association with the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague.
At the halftime interval, it is a 2-point game. 20 minutes down in the championship finale between AS Monaco and Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. AS Monaco fell behind at the start of the second quarter after Fenerbahce netted a 3-pointer to go up by 20-21. Thereafter, they ran off 9 points without reply to go up by 8. They've led by as many as 9. But then Devon Hall and Fenerbahce stuck together 5 unanswered points at the end of the quarter to go into the halftime interval with this 2-point lead, and each of these teams trying to join that roll of honor. And if you look at 2017, you'll see Fenerbahce have their name etched on there already.
One of them trying to join for the first time in their history, which is an amazingly short history to be in this position.
Here's Coach Saras.
Coach, give us some insight into adjustments that you will make for the second half.
Not many adjustments. I think we must be pretty happy with the first half. Some details are hurting us, but it's always going to be the same stuff. In general, we're doing good.
Great. Good luck the second half.
So the halftime thoughts of Coach Šarūnas Jasikevičius, not shooting the 3-ball with particular effectiveness. 2-point percentage down as well, but they are fighting terrifically to keep themselves in contention and indeed in the lead at the half.
Look, considering they've given up 7 offensive rebounds in that second quarter, they're really happy to be ahead at this point of the game. So giving up 7 offensive rebounds in one quarter is not where Jasikevičius wants to be, nor his team. But they've survived it. They got the lead coming in here into the second half.
And there's a man who was integral in getting them that lead. Devon Hall, who was outstanding in the first semi-final. And as we take a look, the first score of the game, the first score of the second quarter, saw Fener go up by 2 and 1 respectively, but just a little root of yellow beginning to take hold because of this, their largest lead of the game, their equal largest lead of the game. They're up by 2.
And we're pointing at the screen right there, at half the screen. But they want to see the yellow at the end of the screen, that right side, that far right side. That's where they want to have that yellow straight. I'll tell you what, it's an evenly matched game. Both teams playing physical offensively, physical defensively. They're trying to get open shots. They're taking advantage of opportunities that they have, but it's the stars that are going to have to step up. Mike James right here on one side, Nigel Hayes-Davis on the other side. Getting to step up when it matters the most.
So all of the players taking the opportunity to get their sight lines adjusted as they change baskets at the halftime interval. And again, who will be called upon to take responsibility in the event that the game is still in the balance come crunch time. As things stand, that is how it's shaping up, but 20 minutes, a long time. So we've already heard from Coach Šarūnas Jasikevičius. Let's hear from his opposite number. Here's Coach Vasilis Spanoulis.
Incredibly balanced game, Coach. What could swing things in your favor?
Move the ball better in their switches and take the defensive rebounds.
Thank you.
So AS Monaco shooting a paltry 32% from 2-point territory, more accurate, and indeed have landed more 3-pointers from downtown, but 0 second chance points, 0 points on a break. Very little easy for AS Monaco.
And only 19 shots within the arc this game. We talked about the fact that in the last game they had 47 shots from inside the arc, only 17 from outside, so they're a little bit more 3-point dependent. Maybe they need to get into the lane, get those 2-pointers. Diallo, especially Kobo. Kobo 0 points, 3 assists to go with them, but they need a Kobo to score. He's one of these guys that he can score 15, 18 in a game, but then he'll also get shut down to 2-3 points. So Kobo's really important that he gets on the board for Monaco if they have a chance here in the second half. Diallo there, your second half. BKT performing the quarter, 7 points with that offensive rebound to go with it, but he still finds his team down after battling and being ahead most of that first half.
Alpha Diallo, the game's leading scorer with 12, the only double-digit scorer in what has been a low-scoring first half. 13 second quarter points is all that AS Monaco were able to muster. Fenerbahce bested them by 4 in that period. So Mike James, effective aggression in the first quarter, hitting 2 of his 3-pointers, 8 points in the game along with 5 rebounds, doing an outstanding job on the boards. But as we saw, very little on the break for AS Monaco. Can they correct that?
Yeah, but what Fener's been able to do is they've been able to keep them away from getting open shots with those. I mean, against Olympiacos, there were bullet passes. They opened up the defense. They got wide open threes. Fener's prevented that by not giving them open opportunities. You see the defensive pressure, how far they're extending them from the basket.
Plenty of space behind the three-point line and free throw line as a long-range 2 put up by Matthew Strazel. Terrific D, but it's last touched by Meili as he was fighting for the rebound. But an outstanding presence defensively, full court pressure applied, and pegging back AS Monaco in their bid to progress the basketball.
Yeah, just great defense right there. Unfortunate for Fener, but they get the steal coming out. Meili one more time.
Now, what's the call here? It's the foul on the ground. Now, Coach Saruna Jasakaevicius may well be launching a challenge here because he feels that the ball handler got into his gather step to make this a 3-point field goal attempt. It's Marko Guduric is saying the same thing.
And I'm going out of limb. In real time, there's no way this could be a 3 shots. I see him gathering right there. I see what, like, come on. He's at half court. Blasingame makes the play that he needs to make the play defensively for his team to make sure that there's no fast break. He's running an angle to his right side to try to shoot the ball up to the left. Coming out. I'm going to let the officials take this over.
Okay.
But I already know the call.
Check if when the contact occurs,
but I'm not going to bet you.
The player has ball. I think this is the best angle, eh? This is the contact?
Yeah. So on that larger box
is this?
Of that split screen, this is the exact image that the officials are scrutinizing courtside.
Okay, now let's check if it's the ball in both hands or not.
No. From the rear?
And now is the ball in 2 hands. Yeah, so foul is previous.
That's the best angle.
That was the best angle. Yeah. Contact, and then the player gathered the ball with the 2 hands. So it's not foul, the act of shooting. Yeah. Previous. Yeah. Thank you. We stay.
We stay in the front.
Yeah. Stay with the same. Thank you.
You handed them a script joke because the conflab between the officials courtside confirming exactly what you prognosticated before they scrutinized the play.
Save the game, Ron. Save the game.
So Meili receives the inbound pass on his contact between Strazel and Guduric, and that's going to be number 3 on Matthew Strazel, and we've had, what, 30 seconds of the second half? Surely he's going to have to take a seat, Joe.
We'll see what happens, because what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put Kalatas back in the game, who's a liability defensively for Monaco. We'll see what Coach Panoulis wants to do here.
Strazel fought over the screen, Guduric keeping his dribble alive. They dump it down to Nigel Hayes-Davis, squares up to the basket, back out to Devon Hall, deep 3-pointer, it's off the back iron. Tarek Baburic got a crucial touch and guided the offensive rebound into the hands of Guduric. What an outstanding team effort on the boards by Fenerbahce.
You gotta box the body out first before you go for the ball right there. Blasingame makes a big mistake.
Deep 3-pointer, Guduric is dropped in the eye of Mike James. Marko Guduric drills his first 3-pointer from downtown. And Guduric shooting at 38% so far this season, gives his team their largest lead of the game. They're up by 5.
And those are the 50-50 balls right there that the coaches talk about. That ball was up in the air. Had to be a rebound for one of those 2 teams. Fenerbahce pulls up with it. And my man Salve in the house.
prominent figure during the Argentina's World Cup celebrations. And wonders whether he will feature here when the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague trophy is presented. As Diallo runs down a loose ball, hangs in the air, contorts his body, can't get the difficult field goal to go, and Fenerbahce have dialed up the intensity noticeably to begin this second half.
It's a different team starting the second half. They've become more physical. They were physical in the first half, but right now to start this third quarter even more so. Will they tire out? What kind of rotations? And there's a pick. That's going to be going the other way. Melly doesn't like it.
Jerome Blossom game sent careening across the court.
Yeah, his move right there by Melly. And the thing about it is he didn't need that little bit of a shift to the right because his man was open regardless. But you're taught to go after the body, Ron. When you see that body moving, you're taught to go after it. And Melly got caught right there. Good call by the officials.
So again, look at where AS Monaco are being forced to set up their half-court offense from. Mike James shakes off Meili by applying the break. Short mid-range Jay Strazel. Offensive rebound. Mike James lets it fly immediately that short. It looked a little leggy. Daniel Tice, magnificent offensive board. He's used his dribble and he had a mismatch. Almost causes the turnover. Nigel Hayes-Davis, after hitting the deck, takes the legs of Jerome Blossom game away, and Nigel Hayes-Davis will be called for the foul.
Yeah, but Ryan, you don't see guys diving for passes very often. Nigel Hayes-Davis sees this pass. It's a lethargic pass coming across court. And instead of just trying to defend the player, Nigel Hayes-Davis, look at him give up his body trying to get into that passing lane. He's going to be called for a foul for it, but this is something that motivates the rest of your team. Your star player, your number one guy, is giving up his body on a cross-court pass and putting his feet on the ground and knees on the ground in the dirt and try to get that steal.
So it's Alpha Diallo again, pegged back to the half-court logo. He's one-on-one with Nicolo Meili, takes him down the lane, steps through, beautiful move. The left-handed attempt is off the mark. Daniel Tice gets the offensive rebound, powers back up and finishes through the foul. That brings the AS Monaco owner up to his feet. Eye-popping intensity from coach Runa Shatakaevich is on the sidelines.
They cannot continue to give up these extra baskets, these extra possessions. Fener's playing incredible defense on the 24-second clock, but they're not fighting around the basket once the ball is up in the air. They're doing a great job of defending James. They shut down the attack that time, and they gave up the easy rebound to Tice, the foul, and one down low. Papagiannis right there. We saw him in the fifth game. Didn't play in the first 4 games of the playoff. Shows up in the fifth. Was it 17 or 18 he comes up with in that game?
He was absolutely sensational in playoff game 5, the decider against AS Monaco. 17 points, perfect from downtown, 4 of 5 from 2, 5 rebounds and a block, all in 19 minutes on the floor. As Daniel Tice completes the 3-point play, that field goal stick back that he got to 4, ending a 3-minute drought spanning quarters 2 and 3 in terms of AS Monaco putting the ball in the basket. It's a one-possession affair once again as Devon Hall uses the screen from Meili. Oh, terrific handle and gets to the goal, beating the outstretched arm of Daniel Tice. Devon Hall moving to 10 points in the game to become Fenerbahce's first double-digit scorer.
Yeah, he did it in the first half of the semifinal game. Right now, he's trying to step it up here in the third quarter. At the end of the second quarter, now the beginning of the third, Devon Hall becoming the star that Fenerbahce needs.
Mike James one-on-one with Nigel Hayes-Davis, takes him down to the lane with a hesitation dribble and gets the baseline one-handed field goal to 4. Mike James moving to double figures, 10 points in the game for him, his team trailing by 2.
And the whole AS Monaco bench is happy to see James back in there attacking to the basket.
Ray Baldwin takes a bump, skids like a sidewinder all the way to the halfway line. As Nigel Hayes-Davis backing down Jerome Blossom game, line drive shot, gets the shooter's roll as it trickles its way over the front iron. 11 points in the game for Nigel Hayes-Davis, his team leading by 4.
Well, he used that right shoulder to fake the spin back again to go over the left shoulder and get the easy, nice touch off the rim.
Blossom game, moonballs it to Alpha Diallo. The baseline was open against Guduric. Diallo didn't look at it. Strazel taking on Meili into the lane. Double clutch, goes glass and gets it to fall. The AS Monaco massive up on their feet to the left of our commentary position here at the Etihad Arena. Matthew Strazel will go to the free throw line looking to add one more, recognizing the mismatch and fearlessly into the lane to find the finish.
But Baldwin comes off that pick, you see him spin off, and he gets into no man's land. He doesn't even see Strassel coming in. He's trying to get maybe a surprise block or get his hand in on the lower side, but he gets underneath Strassel as he goes to the basket, gets the easy two, and finishing off the three-point play.
So Matthew Strazel with the shooter's roll brings his team back to within a single point. My goodness, this is a nip and tuck affair. 1 point the advantage. Well,
already talking about give us a minute, will you?
So shot clock in the red. Wade Baldwin with a mobility advantage over Daniel Tice, and Daniel Tice locks him up as though he's taking him for a dance. No whistle on the play.
Man.
Wade Baldwin can't believe it. One-man advantage momentarily and that's an offensive foul as Daniel Tice bowls over Nicolo Meili, who stands sentry in the lane once again. He did an outstanding job of drawing fouls in the semi-final, and well, I'd like to say they don't exist, but that perhaps a little bit of a makeup call.
Thank you, Ron.
Joe?
Thank you for taking my job for me for a split second. That's the most typical makeup call you've ever seen in your life. Of course, look, I mean, that might not have been a foul by Tice. There was good body work. He didn't get his hands in there, but the makeup call nonetheless as Meili takes an offensive foul. But we talked about it, what he's done at the intangibles in the semifinal game.
Meili looking for his second three-pointer of the final off the front tie, and Alpha Diallo with a tough rebound, fending off Tarik Boborovic with his left hand, reeling it in with the right. James, one-on-one with Meili, dizzying him with the dribble, shakes him off, step back, Meili recovers, moving his feet in the bid to stay with the EuroLeague's all-time leading scorer. Extending, getting to the goal, frustrated that he can't find the finish, and I think Mike James is asking for some movement off the basketball.
Yeah, well, no, what he's asking for is Tice to get the heck out of the way. He was looking the whole time, he wanted to take Meili one-on-one, and Tice was posting up down low, and finally clears him out. Watch, he's going to be upset right here. He's like, get out of my way. Tice comes over to apologize and give him a little love.
So it's all just beyond the halfway stage of the second quarter between Tice and Mike James, but it is a ferocious battle, in this fight to take the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague title. It's a one-point game. Well, the Turkish Airlines flight time player of the game from the second quarter comes on this devastating drive and dunk from Devon Hall. The lane opened up in front of him, and look how wide his eyes got. He was able to plant both feet just outside the defensive semicircle and bounce skyward here in Abu Dhabi to take the Turkish Airlines flight time player of the game for the second quarter.
Well, he took one away from him on Friday night, so they had to give him back here tonight.
So, still lots of time left. Which one of these coaches will be hoisting the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague trophy aloft for the first time as a sideline strategist? So Tarik Boborovic, standing in the semi-final, truth be told, he's been sensational all postseason, netting his career high in that clean sweep playoff 3 game against Paris Basketball when he hit 21 points on 5 of 7 shooting from downtown. In the semi-final win over Panathinaikos on Friday, he was similarly effective. 15 points on 2 of 3 shooting from 2 and perfect shooting from the line, all done in 21 minutes. As the first free throw sunk by Mike James to tie things up. So Mike James, a perfect trip through the stripes, sees AS Monaco regain the lead for the first time since 32-30 in the midst of AS Monaco's run. 33-30, excuse me, deep in the second quarter as the field goal falls from Marko Guduric. And that lead short-lived, Fenerbahce up by 1.
You got to take that left hand again away from Guduric. He'll get to the basket all day long using that body.
So off the iron on the inside, standing strong, Tarik Boborovic.
Meili's so solid down there defensively, man. He went straight up, used his body. They're going to foul him right now. Strassel tried to foul him, but couldn't get it.
Wade Baldwin almost lost the basketball, but manages to recover, keeping his handle alive. He's going to work Tice with the handle, looks for the left-handed reverse beneath the basket and gets it to fall, putting English on the ball off the glass. 7 points in the game, his team lead by 3.
That's 2 left-handed penetrations in a row as James trying to find something down low. A lot of individual basketball going on in this game.
Mike James jacks up a 3-pointer. Daniel Tice throws up his hands frustratedly. Mike James committing a frustration foul there because Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul setting up in that high line defense, a 3-2. There's lots of space in the middle, but AS Monaco not able to penetrate it as we take another look at the reverse lay from Wade Baldwin.
Yeah, they're stretching out the offense too, which is pulling them a little bit further away from the basket, disrupting the timing of the cuts and the movement. So good job defensively, both teams. Fener right now taking advantage of a couple seams to get to the basket with the left hand.
So 6:21 gone in the third quarter. Wade Baldwin gets to his spot, and you may as well start jogging back the other way.
Yeah.
If Wade Baldwin can find that rhythm, get his feet set, and elevate at mid-range from where he is an assassin.
Ladies and gentlemen, that once again is Wade Baldwin at his best. That's the shot he likes to take, and that's when he's about to take over a game. Blossing in, that's not normally his shot.
But he'll
buries
it
down
to end a run of 6 straight points put on the board by Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. A crucial bucket at a key time from AS Monaco's perspective. Jerome Blossomgame hit one of his 2 3-pointers in the semi-final, where he logged a marathon 37 minutes, but he's giving his team good minutes here in this championship game tonight.
Big time minutes, Blossom game. Now Kalata's back in the game. Let's see. It's a delicate moment. Tice comes out of the game also. Kalata's in the game. Let's see if they take advantage of his weakness defensively. Zatai also back in. A little bit of pressure underneath the boards.
So the battle of Agent Zeros is Elia Kobo defending McCollum, but look at how he's able to weave his way through traffic, manages to get the ball out to Wade Baldwin. Wade Baldwin one-on-one with Elia Kobo. Creates space. Off the iron with the rebound, off the iron with the shot and the rebound. Jerome Blossomgame. Tough D by AS Monaco. As Alpha Diallo playing point forward. Namjaite beyond his shooting range. Ken Birch up in his jersey. And look at the physicality between those two bigs out on the perimeter. Now there's a huge mismatch for Kalathis and Namjaite down low as Eric McCollum tries to front it. They get the ball to Akobo. Extra pass to Diallo. And it's a shot clock violation. Terrific defense. Acknowledged by the Fenerbahce faithful. 24-second violation because the communication from AS Monaco not what it needs to be in this cacophony of an atmosphere.
Well, a lot of it had to do with the Fenerbahce pressure defense, the way they rotated, getting the open shooters. Monaco moved the ball well, but not quick enough. And give Fener credit, man. That's tough on your legs. Those are 24 seconds of hardcore defense right there by Fenerbahce.
10th turnover of the game from the team who commit the second fewest amount of turnovers in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. They're practically at their season average already. The Jerome Blossomgame with the armbar against Nigel Hayes-Davis. Baseline is open. Hayes-Davis turns in that direction. Turnaround Jay's off the mark and he's throwing up his hands to the rafters in frustrated looking fashion. Remains a 1-possession affair. AS Monaco down by 2. Low scoring third quarter so far as Kalathis wraparound feed back out to Diallo. Pull up 3-pointer off the dribble. Diallo bottoms it. Alpha Diallo, having signed a new contract extension with AS Monaco, said that he wants to repay their loyalty, and my goodness, he's doing that here in this championship game. These all scores with 15, but the instant riposte from downtown from Marko Guduric sees Fenerbahce regain a 2-point lead. So AS Monaco's 1-point lead, short-lived. There's a deflection from Guduric. Ball still loose. Nigel Hayes-Davis picks it out of the air. Terrific defense on that deflection. Guduric with his second steal of the game. Wade Baldwin attacking the seam, gets to his spot. and a rare miss, and he claps his hands frustratedly because that's the bucket he would bag himself to make 99 times out of 100. Wraparound feed down to Diallo. What a pass! Like a higher live player out of that left hand. Alpha Diallo moving to 17 points in this final.
I can't believe Kalidas took that long to get that ball down there. This is the way Monaco played against Olympiacos. They found the open player, especially in the break. I like the team right now that's going to break when they get the turnovers, when they get a rebound, get out in the break and get open baskets. The half-court defense has been impressive for both teams.
Guduric just held his left ankle as though he was in trouble, but he's still got enough mobility to shake off. Mam Jaite, turn around, hook shot to beat the shot clock buzzer. McCollum goes glass, short off the window, an extra tip, gets it out to Nigel Hayes-Davis. Sets himself, one dribble, three-pointer, he's good! Nigel Hayes-Davis, off the extra offensive possessions, connects on his first three-pointer on that, his second attempt of the night, moves to 14 points in the game to lead his team in scoring. They break the deadlock, they're up by 3.
I'm not sure if they're going to stop this for Spanulis. Spanulis asked for a 2, said that Hayes-Davis steps on the line here. Not at all, nowhere near the line. Hayes-Davis stepped back and drills that 3 from deep.
So closing seconds of the quarter, bodies hitting the deck at the half-court logo. Eliakobo looks to go glass, slapped against the backboard. Incident filled conclusion to quarter number 3, and Vasilis Spanulis saying exactly what I was suggesting, because that was a hard slap of the backboard as Eliakobo sought to beat the end of quarter buzzer, and I think he's got a case at least worth listening to.
He's asking for the basket interference right there on that last play.
So the end of quarter, don't think there's going to be a change. As things stand, it is a 3-point lead for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. So another low-scoring period. Fenerbahce edging it by 1, 18-19 in favor of the team from Istanbul. And hard, intense defense being demonstrated by both sides.
Yeah, I think, Ron, the most important thing we saw it at halftime, not many fast break points for each team. You're letting the other team set up their half-court defense on a rebound, a stolen ball, a turnover, 50-50 ball. I think one of these teams has to get out and run. Fenerbahce has done a little bit more than Monaco, but get out and run a break, and try to find something in transition, because both teams, when they have their defense set up half-court-wise, are making stops and pushing the offense away from the basket, disrupting them in the passing lanes.
So a look inside the numbers. Very tight in the battle on the boards, but AS Monaco just edging ahead, but their advantage on the boards almost negated by their profligacy in terms of taking care of the rock. 11 turnovers.
Yeah, 11 turnovers for Monaco. That's really hurt them here tonight. And best performance of that quarter, Marko Guduric, your BKT best performer. It's been the bench points also that have kept Fener into this game. 16 bench points for them, only 3 for Monaco. So depending on their starters here most of this game.
Arthur Jagard and Scotty Wilbekin in their civvies, but here very much supporting their basketball brothers. Matthew Strazel on that daredevil drive into the lane where he was fouled in the act of shooting. With the flight time performance of the third quarter.
McCollum here is your wild card, Ron. He did it the other day. He came up, scored about 9 points straight at one stretch in the semifinal game. Can he get it rolling here tonight? As you look at Monaco picking up the intensity defensively.
Final quarter underway here at the Etihad Arena. It is a one-possession affair in the championship game. AS Monaco trailing Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul by 3. Shot clock in the red. Does Nigel Hayes-Davis recognize? Puts it up off the sidestep dribble. Now snatched out of the air by Ken Birch, but the ball did not draw iron.
Man.
And after a 24-second violation was forced by Fenerbahce against AS Monaco in the closing stages of the third, AS Monaco opened the fourth by forcing a violation.
Watch Jordan Lloyd on the rotation if we see the replay here. I'm not sure we're going to check the replay. What what Nigel Hayes-Davis likes to do is cut to the baseline, turn to the baseline, and find a guy underneath the basket. Jordan Lloyd makes an incredible defensive play, rotating underneath the basket to stop that pass and causing Nigel Hayes-Davis to get that shot up too late.
Mamjaite fouled down low by Devon Hall. But again, had he not committed the foul and Mamjaite completed the reception, that's pretty much a guaranteed 2 points.
You got to figure we've had 30 minutes of contact, defensive basketball, and people going at it. It's not going to change in the last 10 unless we get some quick runs here.
So Alpha Diallo receives the inbound pass. Eliakobo, who is still scoreless, 0 of 5 from the field, including missing his only 3-point attempt. That's asking an awful lot of Mamjaite, and the pincer movement that bracketed him, forcing a turnover. Contact between Jordan Lloyd and Wade Baldwin, no whistle. It's a physical final here in Abu Dhabi, as Nigel Hayes-Davis forces up the field goal attempt, fouled in the act of shooting, and trip to the free throw line to come.
I'm up here with a microphone in my mouth and headphones on my ears, man, but there's one thing I know. When you're in a championship game or any professional basketball game, you cannot be lobbing passes. They have to be strong passes, hard passes. These guys are pros, they catch the ball. You can't be lobbing it into the big man right here because everybody's on the rock. Everybody's watching the ball. There's only one ball in the court. Good passes, do not turn the rock over. Both of these teams, Fenerbahce 17.3 assists on the season per game, only 7 tonight. Monaco, 19 assists on the season, only 8 tonight. So they've been forced, both teams, to play one-on-one basketball throughout these 30 minutes.
Nigel Hayes-Davis remaining perfect from the free throw line in this final, 6 out of 6 so far, to make it 18 consecutive free throws. And the unerring consistency of Nigel Hayes-Davis from 15 feet away continues here to give his team a 5-point lead. Nigel Hayes-Davis moving to 16 points in the game to lead his team in scoring.
Ron, I've said this throughout the night. Monaco needs Eliakobo to step up. He's got 0 points, 4 assists, but he's 0 for 5 from the field. Eliakobo's a guy that they love to have score, but it opens up the rest of the team.
Eliakobo with the basketball now, pulls up from the top of the key, off the iron once again as the basket remains covered, and Fenerbahce doing an outstanding job crowding out Mamjaite as he sought to run down another offensive rebound. Marko Guduric taking a shot to the nose with arms flailing on the inside.
As we saw in the first quarter, it's not easy to keep Jate away from that basket. He continues to go after the ball aggressively. Doesn't catch it there, but he does get another possession for his team.
So the play is going to be reviewed, and remember, after the Olympic Games, the challenge for out of bounds. So coach's challenge to determine which way possession will go.
This is the hand, okay? So it's ball for...
Well, while this play is being reviewed, I can tell you that the roof is being raised here by the fans in attendance at the Etihad Arena. Up on their feet, stomping their feet.
Thank you so much.
And the decibel level being dialed up to maximum. So the review.
Change of view right there as Monaco ball originally. Jate knocked that ball out of bounds, so it's going to be Fener ball with the 5-point lead, running a chance to extend this lead.
Fenerbahce led by 5 after the opening score of the second half, put them up 33-38. Here they've got the first scores from Nigel Hayes-Davis from the stripe to give them their second 5-point lead of the game. So full court pressure being applied on the basketball as Jordan Lloyd working against Eric McCollum. Get it over to Guduric.
There's bodies flying everywhere, man. Welcome to the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Championship game right here. A 5-point lead by Fenerbahce. Monaco trying to find their way offensively. Both teams battling it out defensively. Blasingame checking back into the game, just adding a little bit more physicality. Diallo out with his 4th foul, and he's your leading scorer on the night, so someone's going to have to step up.
Well, we've got an offensive foul on the inbound pass. My goodness. Change of possession. The official optimally placed, and
now look at Guduric.
Foul sends the ball the other way.
Look at Guduric and Galatas. Look at them grabbing each other right now. The official has the ball in his hands, and they're all over each other.
So just over a minute and a half gone in the final quarter. The only score in this period so far, the free throws from Nigel Hayes-Davis. Here's Elie Okobo, who remains scoreless. Galatas looking for options, dumps it down to Mamjaite, pushed forcefully from behind by Wade Baldwin. No arguments about the foul. Mamjaite doing a good job showing the numbers on his jersey to the inbounder from the wing.
Yeah, and he got great contact from Baldwin. He knew Baldwin was on him. You got to anticipate that foul is coming. Baldwin does a good job, and this is what it's going to be all about. Both teams now with two team fouls in the first minute, 48 of the 4th quarter. So I'm assuming that they're going to be in the bonus pretty quickly. Both teams' foul shots are going to be huge down the stretch.
Raucous atmosphere here at the Etihad Arena, making communication for the athletes on court very difficult. Elie Okobo, who remains scoreless, dumps it down to Mamjaite, working his way into position. Passes out to James, rotation to Elie Okobo. 3-pointer top of the key, off the back iron. Oh, what a towering rebound, hauled in on the inside by Jaron Blossomgame. He hit the deck from a tremendous height, and I think it was his elbow that came into the contact with the floor first. What an offensive board. Watch him get up.
Birch got stuck in the net right there, Blossomgame. You see him boxing out. You got to try to get around him if you can.
Bump took the legs from beneath Blossomgame, but thankfully he's okay.
It's going to hurt a lot less, Ron, if they win.
Indeed. It's a magnificent elixir victory. As Elie Okobo, his jump shot not falling, goes glass, can't get that to fall either. Ball squeezes his way out to Blossomgame, fakes the 3, drives baseline, pulls up, rattles around the rim, back out, he's keeping it alive. Magnificent effort by Jaron Blossomgame, but the rebound ultimately secured by Nigel Hayes-Davis. So Wade Baldwin, pull up 3-pointer, and he drills it right in the face of Mamjaite, who was late on the closeout. Wade Baldwin, 2 out of 4 from downtown, 12 points in the game. His team with their largest lead of the game. 8 points the advantage.
Now what do Monaco and James do? How do they respond? James with a wild left-handed penetration in the basket. A lot of one-on-one basketball. Guys not getting back on defense right now. Fener with a big advantage.
And they're more energetic as Guduric grabs the rebound. So what, we have played just over 3 minutes of the 4th quarter, and AS Monaco have yet to put the ball in the basket either from the field or the free throw line. In the meantime, Nigel Hayes-Davis hit a pair of free throws and a score on the inside. And a score from Wade Baldwin.
This 3 here by Baldwin was huge. They just couldn't get out in time. Baldwin takes advantage of the big man backstepping. We got a timeout on the floor here. It's an important moment for AS Monaco right now. They had James go to the basket with a wild left-handed shot. 2 guys, James and one other, did not get back on defense in time. Wide open shot from Fener and an offensive rebound.
So we've got a timeout on the floor. Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul with their largest lead of the game.
McCollum here. One here, 5 here. Jordan here. Good screen. We speed to attack. And after you are here. And we play like this. Jordan, switch here. You go a little bit up. And you stay here. You go up. Daniel, you go here. And you play from the post 1-1 or from outside. Hey, now. Hey. Single pick and roll with you. McCollum guy, and you play one against one. Hey, look. When we have this mark now, 5 and 4 here, 2 players here, and play. 1 to keep, watch out, quick.
So AS Monaco's last basket came with just under a minute remaining in the third quarter. We've just had over 3 minutes gone in quarter number 4. So for all intents and purposes, that is a 4-minute drought in terms of scoring that is being endured by AS Monaco. As Eric McCollum, oh my goodness, what a handle. Got the shot away off the iron and came up with his own offensive rebound and got the stick back. How on earth did Eric McCollum shapeshift from putting up that shot from around the free throw line? It was like a cartoon where he emerged from a crowd with the ball in his hands and somehow put it in the basket. Terrific basketball instincts. Let's keep an eye on McCollum.
The hardest guy to stop sometimes, Ron, is the guy who shoots the ball as an offensive rebounder. McCollum just follows the play. Tice can't handle it. McCollum comes up with it, draws a foul, but if you're AS Monaco, you're more concerned as McCollum drops to the free throw. You're real concerned with an 11-point deficit. Mike James keeps holding that right hand as if he fell on it. It's 11-0 run by Fener.
So the first double-digit lead of the final. As AS Monaco stone cold to begin the fourth quarter. Lots of contact and Mike James forcing his way into the lane to get a field goal away. Looks as though he would foul several times en route to the rack, but again, this is the final. One of them was ultimately called. It's against Eric McCollum, and it will send Mike James to the free throw line from where he is 2 out of 2.
Well, we talked about the fact that Mike James has become a different player since he's always been a guy that's distributed the ball well. He's always known as an offensive player, as a scorer, but this year he's become more of a distributor. Right now, 12 points in the game. He's 2 for 8 from 2, 2 for 5 from 3, but he has 0 assists. And that's the big issue because he's playing one-on-one basketball. Players are so much easier to defend one-on-one wise because when you're not giving up the rock, you get a lot of help from the weak side. So that's what Fener's been able to do. They've been able to help him, and you see a little bit affected by that right hand. He keeps holding it, and he's short on that free throw.
So a 4.5-minute scoring drought ended by Mike James going 1 of 2 from the stripe, but they still are in search of their first fourth quarter field goal. AS Monaco, offensive foul away from the basketball, but this is a really important passage of the period here for AS Monaco. If they can get it back to 6 or 8
they need
with 5 minutes remaining, then they'll fancy their chances.
You need to take advantage of a play like this. McCollum cuts to the middle of the lane, gets his hands up. I believe it is in Akobo's face, if I'm not mistaken. That's offensive foul with only about 4 seconds taken off the shot clock. So now an opportunity for Monaco to come back and score. I think James got to start distributing the ball a little bit. So give him some pick and rolls, get him open up the court.
Tarek Buburic with a shove against Jerome Blossom game. No whistle on the play. Mike James with a mobility edge over Buburic. Buburic moving his feet, beaten on the blow by. Going for the reverse and getting it to fall is Daniel Tice.
That's it right there. That's the way you get Mike James with a little pick and roll up top. Give him an open and let him create. Get to the basket.
Another offensive foul. Hands flailing. This time Elia Kobo taking the chin checker. After Makolo Maley bodied him up near the half court, Elia Kobo wound up on the floor. And we've got a technical foul being assessed against somebody. I think it's Coach Sarunas Jasakaivichus who has been teed up. No, it's actually Wade Baldwin who has been hit with the tech, and he absolutely aghast. Let's see if we can figure out what has happened here. So there's the chin checker that sends Elia Kobo to the court. Fenerbahce not happy, and somewhere during this remonstration, Wade Baldwin has been hit with a tech. Jordan Lloyd hits the technical free throw.
Most importantly, so you talk about time off the clock, around 5:45 to go. That's 2 possessions in a row with offensive fouls, whether they're technical or not. 2 offensive fouls in a row that only took about 7 seconds off the clock in total between those 2 possessions. So Monaco not only scoring with the technical foul, but also gaining time. The clock not becoming such an enemy right now, down 7.
The drought of around 5 minutes that AS Monaco endured from the field. Mike James into a crowd, nowhere to go. Turnover is the result.
Tough play by Mike James getting into 3 guys. Again, distribute that rock. Your team only has 9 assists in the game.
So Elia Kobo with aggressive on-ball defense. I wondered for a moment whether it was going to be an 8-second violation. It must have been close, but Elia Kobo sticking to Wade Baldwin like glue, and it's an off. Well, what's the call? The offhand of Wade Baldwin came up, but I think the foul is going to be against Elia Kobo, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be against Kobo, but you can't defend better than that. Kobo did a great job of defending Baldwin all the way up the floor. You called it was almost an 8-second call, and once he gets it over the half-court line, makes him cross over and just gets his hand in. That's 5 on Diallo, so looks like he's going to have to take a seat. He's your leading scorer of the night. Alpha Diallo with 17 points, 2 assists. Going to the bench with 5 fouls.
So Alpha Diallo was called for the foul. He will take no further part in the game, but what a game he has had in this, his first final. Now he inquiring as to why he's being hit with the foul. But as things stand, it is assessed against Alpha Diallo, and he will take no further part in the game, having picked up foul number 5. And as we suggested, Joe, we thought it was Elia Kobo that was in the mix. He was hawking the basketball. It was assessed against Diallo.
So they're
saying, hold on, mistaken identity.
Well, Diallo did get his hands in there.
So it's Elia Kobo who is called for the foul. Wade Baldwin to the free throw line for the first time tonight. 81% free throw shooter this season. He was 4 of 4 from the line in the semi-final win over Panathinaikos on Friday.
But that call didn't make Spanulis nervous at all. He's keeping Diallo in the game, being his leading scorer. Even with those 4 fouls, got the 5. They gave him another freebie, come back to 4. So Diallo's got 6 fouls on the night if he needs them. But Monaco needs someone to score. Only 55 points here at the 5-minute mark of this 4th quarter.
Only 4 points in the 4th quarter so far. Fenerbahce, Beko Istanbul have scored 9 in this period. There's Jordan Lloyd with 3 points in the game. They've all come from the free throw line. He's lost the basketball. Hitting the deck once again is Nigel Hayes-Davis, and leaping to make that reception like a wideout on the gridiron field is Wade Baldwin. He intelligently slows things down, as does Guduric.
Hayes-Davis is making plays, man. That's huge to dive on the flight that one more time to regain another possession. See what it results in here.
Spinning into the lane, pushing a left-handed shot to beat the buzzer is Marko Guduric, the outstanding performer of quarter number 3. Shooting at 80% from 2-point territory as he moves to 14 points in the game as Alpha Diallo rocks the rim to move to 19 with that 2-fisted flush.
That was the way Monaco played Friday night against Olympiacos. Penetrating to the basket, quick penetrations, finding guys on bounce passes underneath and getting the easy baskets. Fenerbahce doing a good job of preventing it, but right there was a big play. Hayes-Davis now.
Off the iron, extra touch again. Ken Birch, outstanding job. The extra bite to the cherry sees Nigel Hayes-Davis secure his own miss. Dominance on the offensive boards being demonstrated by Nigel Hayes-Davis and Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. Devon Hall, step back 3, counted. And you have a sense of destiny in terms of Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul fighting their way towards this 2nd title, because everything is going their way through this passage of play. It's a dominant 4th quarter performance so far, holding AS Monaco to just 6 points while they are netting 14. And this 3-pointer from Devon Hall as a result of multiple extra possessions, courtesy of their tenacity on the offensive board.
When you look at it, Ron, there's 14 offensive fouls per team. So when that happens, you have to look at how many points you get after those offensive rebounds. It's been Fenerbahce who's been able to take care of those extra possessions. Guduric right there with a step back 3 and a huge dagger, trying to give his team another championship and give his head coach his first.
Alpha, you go like this. You take the speed. You make screen and screen the screener. And after go opposite, we can roll it with him. Okay?
Rock, coming into this game, Fenerbahce since Christmas is 17-3. They finished out the season 13-3. They swept Paris 3-0 in the playoff. They won the game in the semifinals. So this is by far the most consistent team and the team that's come in here tonight with the momentum, especially on their side. And they're now taking advantage of the offensive rebounds and converting into second chance points.
And remember, they were swept by Panathinaikos during the course of the regular season, bested them in the semi-finals. Fenerbahce back to Istanbul. AS Monaco swept Fenerbahce during the course of the regular season campaign as well, including that 30-point blowout in Istanbul. But here, with 3.5 minutes remaining in regulation, it is Fenerbahce who are in a strong position on the scoreboard. It's their second 11-point lead, equaling their largest lead of the game, and we are in crunch time. But as things stand, well, the game out of reach of AS Monaco, but that makes things more interesting. A crucial possession sees it back to a single-digit deficit, and psychologically that is so much more straightforward to deal with than a double-digit margin of disadvantage.
Yeah, with Fener controlling the rock right now, they're going to take as much time as they can off this clock. Monaco has to continue to be physical defensively and not get themselves too many quick fouls to put Fener on the line, especially at this point of the shot clock.
Mike James gambling, but Nigel Hayes-Davis completes the reception. Daniel Tice coming to double team. Wade Baldwin drops it off with a baseline bounce pass. Tarek Baburovic off the front iron. Daniel Tice secured the rebound.
That's great defense by Monaco right there. He took it down at the end of the shot clock. Good for Fenerbahce, but they didn't foul. They gave up the open shot, got the rebound. Now Mike James.
Strazel steps into a three, rattles around the rim, but he's fouled in the act of shooting and will go to the free throw line to shoot 3 shots.
Now how big is this with the shot clock, with the clock stopped? 2:29 to go. As you mentioned, they got it underneath that 10-point deficit, and now the referees are talking about it. Let's see what happens here. Oh, it's Strazel going forward on that. I think Baldwin does a good job of holding his ground.
Unsportsmanlike foul. So,
listen.
Unsportsmanlike foul for coming into the landing space of the shooter. So this is 3 free throws and a possession.
Ron, this is where it becomes a judgment call for the officials. It's a difficult call because Baldwin holds his ground. It's Strazel. Baldwin's ejected from the game because of the technical he had before. So with that foul, he's automatically ejected as we see him going off to the locker room. And that's a terrible situation because he held his ground. We see that replay one more time, please. He steps out. Strazel's the guy who, when he's taking his three, has forward progress coming towards the basket. So one thing is for a defender if you're going towards the shooter. The other thing is the shooter's coming towards the defender. I don't think that should have been called, in my opinion.
So both teams in the penalty. Matthew Strazel missed the first free throw. 1 free throw to come, plus the ensuing possession. So here's another look.
You see, Baldwin pulls the foot back, Ron. Strazel's going forward. Baldwin just holds his ground. This is not a good call by the officials. I know it's the rule book call, but not a good call. That has to be re-looked again.
So Mike James pulls up over Ken Birch. Off the front iron, terrific offensive rebound, Matthew Strazel. Mike James steps into his three-pointer, clangs off the side iron. And we have got a whistle on the play now. That's Alpha Diallo fighting for the offensive rebound. That will be foul number 5, and he'll take no further part in the game.
Well, James is throwing up threes right now for no reason. It's a 7-point game. You're not that far away. You don't need the three. You don't need that constant quick shot. Get to the basket, find somebody open, get a better look, as they did Friday night against Olympiacos. Diallo with a big game, but now has to go to the bench, fight for this offensive rebound.
Alpha Diallo has been sensational in the Final Four. 22 points in the semi-final win. 19 points here tonight. And 3 of 4 shooting from downtown. He grabbed 8 rebounds as well. Magnificent Herculean effort from Alpha Diallo. But all he can do now is watch from the sidelines the position to which he is consigned after picking up that 5th and final foul.
You see everybody from Monaco just standing around. Again, Mike James trying to direct traffic to go one-on-one.
Down.
That's the play right there.
Dishes to Matthew Strazel, who connects from three-point territory. A big bucket from Matthew Strazel, who is perfect from three-point territory, brings his team back to within 5.
And that's James' second assist. He had the one on the bounce pass earlier for the dunk by Diallo. This time he finds Strazel in the corner. That's the way James needs to play if they have a chance to get back in this game with 5 points down.
Guduric driving, slapped against the backboard by Daniel Tice. What's the call? Now they're asking for basket interference.
If the ball, I think the call might have been on the floor before he was going to the basket, so I don't think there'd be basket interference. But if he does go up, it's on the scoreboard. They're going to look at this. Did they call 2 points or 2 shots? The foul's here, I think it's called.
So, if we take another look at the corner 3, see Wade Baldwin in the background of that shot, watching on. Wade Baldwin, the 4th, after being ejected, picking up a technical foul after he was, an unsportsmanlike foul after he was assessed with an earlier tech. So the bucket has been removed, so it is not basket good.
Yeah, I thought that call was on the floor, which means he wasn't in the process of taking the shot.
So 2 free throws to come. Daniel Tice called for the foul. That is number 4 for him. Wade Baldwin ejected from the game after picking up an unsportsmanlike foul to go with his earlier tech. Alpha Diallo was fouled out with 5 fouls. Guduric to the free throw line for the first time tonight. And makes it to move to 15 points in the game.
It's a big free throw right here. 7-point difference compared to a 6-point difference with the minute 37 to go is huge. Guduric makes this, you feel a little bit more confident about your chances to win this game and not let Monaco get back in with a couple threes. You have to set something up here quick, Ron. Get it to James, get him in to penetrate in the middle of the zone, find your shooters on the outside, and see if you can get a quick 3 off the play, but you can't spend a lot of time. Let's check out the bench right now and the timeout for Fener and see how they're going to defend Monaco on this possession. Very important defensive play for this team.
Hand off with James, quick solution, possibly pin down for the shooter. If you're guarding the shooter, try to understand where's the 5 man. Maybe you can go into the top line. Don't foul here, please. Don't foul here, please. And no line.
One defense, guys. One defense.
Wait. They are playing fake. Stick with the shooter. Sometimes we have 2 players for the jump switch. Wait for James or Kobo late. Gang rebound. Hold on to the ball. Let's go.
I look at Sardas, I'm just thinking he's looking up at that clock. I know he wants to coach his way out of this game. He's looking up at the clock. He's got that lead. He's been here so many times before. Not only as a player, but especially as a coach. And right now, man, he can lock this up with a defensive stop right here. His team up 7. Monaco needs a quick score if they can.
So Elia Kobo preparing to inbound. Mike James has been hit to the body and is off the court and out of the baseline. He's holding his right side. Daniel Tice, one-on-one, down in the lane, gets all the way to the goal and can't find a finish. He's asking for the foul, and that could well be the basketball game.
Now you see Fener just walking it up. They're going to try to take the next 20 seconds off this clock if they can.
So Guduric giving himself running room against Daniel Tice. He's playing with 3 fouls, sidestep 3. Oh, and he drills it right Tice to give his team a double-digit lead with a minute remaining. 10 points the advantage for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. And the celebrations beginning in earnest here at the Etihad Arena. Although Nigel Hayes-Davis turning the basketball over, dispossessed by Jerome Blossom game. Strazel sees a seam, attacks, gets to the goal and finds the finish.
Guduric has had a couple step-back threes over Daniel Tice that have solidified his victory. There's another one right here over the outstretched arms of Tice. Not much the big man can do. Marko Guduric, welcome to your moment, my man. We've seen so many people do it before. Micic just keeps Sergio Llull just going back, making the big shots in the big moment. Guduric has done it a couple times in his fourth quarter.
So Daniel Tice commits the foul. And Daniel Tice asking Mr. Robert Lertemercer as to why there was no whistle when he made his move on the inside. And Daniel Tice continues to make his inquiry with his compatriot. The Fenerbahce fans are up on their feet, and it is party time here at the Etihad Arena, because this moment from Marko Guduric, his third three-pointer of the final season, lead his team in scoring with 19, and it gave them a 10-point deficit at 64-74.
And you know, there's a lot of players on this team, including their coach and the president right there, who deserve this moment. But this guy's sitting on the foul line, man. This guy's sitting on the foul line right now. Nigel Hayes-Davis is such a class act, not only as an incredible basketball player, as an incredible role model person for young kids to watch Hayes-Davis, man. He put his body on the line this whole game. And when you have a leader like that, it's hard not to step up, and it's hard for it not to become contagious for the rest of your team. Congratulations to Nigel Hayes-Davis and the rest of his squad.
Nigel Hayes-Davis remains perfect. 9 out of 9 from the free throw line tonight. His team with a double-digit lead. They're up by 10.
Jordan for blows. Jordan. Five. Hey, you go like this. Ellie, you go like this. Jordan, you go like this. Full screen for Mike. And the middle play. When you take the ball, Mike, go, post it, shoot it. Okay, I'm saying it. Now, put pressure up there. Stronger.
This place is about to erupt, right? You see security wrapping the court right now, trying to keep all the fans off the floor if they can for this special moment for Fenerbahce basketball.
So Monaco will continue to fight, but they need a prayer to be answered from the basketball gods, and something calamitous to befall Fenerbahce as Mike James driving on Guduric, lots of contact, no foul call, air ball, and that is the basketball game. It's a 2-on-1 opportunity, foul in the open court, and now Coach Sarunas Jatakevicius celebrating with the man of the moment, his team's leading scorer Marko Guduric, and just look at the contrast that these games can bring about, the contrast in emotions. Third final with a third different team for Nick Kalathis.
Look, this is a great moment for players to go up and just like you saw Guduric do, just hit Jatakevicius in the head a couple times, man, and get back for all the times you've been yelled at all season long. This is the perfect moment for it. And you see the emotion right there also. Tears even on the winning bench. And the process doesn't change from Nigel Hayes-Davis. Goes to his little talk, little kiss on the right wrist, and drills another free throw, perfect from the line.
11 out of 11 for Nigel Hayes-Davis, 20 points in the game. Daniel Tice with a consolation bucket. The clock continues to tick as Fenerbahce edge ever closer. Oh, that's
look at Nigel Hayes going to get three. Look at Melly with tears on the bench.
Well, what scenes here at the Etihad Arena. The baselines have been roped off. Orange-clad security officials just looking to maintain order. Nigel Hayes-Davis, 11 out of 11 from the free throw line, the game's high scorer with 20 points in the game. He entered this championship final having made 12 consecutive free throws, and he's made a dozen more in this game alone. Nicolo Meili overcome with emotion. What a performer he has been across the course of the Final Four. Crucial cameos of key impact for his ball club.
Tears of joy, my man. This is what it's all about right now. It's just the season that accumulates in this right here, in this moment. Look at, Saras, we know how emotional he was when he won with Zalgiris in third place and was in the playoffs. So right now, he's just a load of emotion watching the rest of his team in tears. James pulling up.
Well, Mike James gets the three-pointer to fall. That'll make things a little more or less uncomfortable on the scoreboard. But what a wonderful moment between those two iconic figures as they share an embrace. But Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul fashion a famous victory in Abu Dhabi to take the EuroLeague title. And just look at what it means to everybody clad in the yellow and blue from the team of the Asian side of the Bosphorus Strait in Istanbul. In a hard-fought physical encounter, it is Fenerbahce who were able to demonstrate their brand of smart, intense, tough basketball to claim their second crown, adding to the one that they claimed in 2017. And now emotions beginning to spill from everybody associated with the Istanbul Ball Club. Bitter disappointment for coach Vasilis Vanoulis, but what an impact he has made in the coaching ranks in his first season as a sideline strategist in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague, making it through to the championship game. But coach Sarunas Jasikavičius becomes just the fourth person to win EuroLeague titles as a player and a coach, joining Armanak Alachachan, Lolo Sainz and Svetislav Pesic. And their wonderful moment with the family for coach Sarunas Jasikavičius. 4 titles as a player and now 1 as a head coach, as the man in charge of Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. Wonderful scenes here at the Etihad Arena, and it's the Fenerbahce faithful who are celebrating.
I think, Ron, he has worked harder for this championship more than any other one in his life. And as a coach, it even becomes more gratifying because you've done it, you've depended on your team. It's not an easy situation for a player to make the transition into coaching. And he's struggled over the last 5 or 6 years. Lost a couple finals, Final Fours, and now he's got his championship.
Final score, AS Monaco 70. Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul with an 11-point margin of advantage as we take a look at the Motorola magic moment, and it's the 3-point dagger drilled by Marko Guduric, dropping it into the eye of Daniel Tice. Marko Guduric with an incredible performance of 19 points, including 3 of 5 shooting from downtown. Championship winning display. which surely must have him in contention for Player of the Game honours in this championship finale. And again, the contrast in emotions. Papagiannis didn't get onto the floor during the course of the Final Four. He was a key contributor in the 5th game decider against Barcelona. And now coach Šarūnas Jasikevičius, the Alexander Gamelski Coach of the Year, now a EuroLeague champion. And tonight's Adidas Player of the Game in this championship final is Marko Guduric. 19 points in the game, including 3 of 5 shooting from downtown, perfect from the free throw line, and 80% from 2-point territory. And it's not just the buckets he got, but the moments in which he got them, absolutely key to Fenerbahce's win.
That's the big thing right there. You big players showing up in big moments, and Marko Guduric did it.
Marko Guduric,
a couple threes.
Adidas Player of the Game, but more importantly, you are Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champion. How does that feel?
This is the one. This is the one I've been waiting my whole career, working for. It's hard to really say something right now. Just proud, happy, and that's it. That's all I can say now.
When you're playing a game under that pressure defensively that Monaco put on you, do you just have to go into a blank space and say, I'm just going to get the ball up, get my teammates involved?
I mean, you have to. We just played against great team on the biggest stage, great defensive team as well. I mean, yeah, it was about preparation, get to our spots. And then just try to execute.
You said this has been a long time of your whole career. How many years have you dreamed of being on this stage and about to lift the crown?
Since I was a kid, I can't remember. Yeah, 20 years probably.
The daggers that you hit, that giant three that pretty much sealed the game. You're the man who stepped up to take that shot, showed no fear, as did the rest of your team.
It's all about team. It's all about team. All these guys, I mean, we are really the team, and I emphasize that word all the time. This is team win, and I'm very happy, very proud, and all glory to God.
Marko, thank you very much. Congratulations.
So Marko Guduric, tonight's Player of the Game, and what a performance he delivered. And again, in the moments when he was called upon, taking the responsibility, showing that championship mentality, that toughness, that ice-cold temperament to help get his team over the line. Let's hear from Eric McCollum.
Eric McCollum, CJ McCollum, brothers. Before I let you talk to each other, you play one-on-one in the playground. Who's the best shooter?
I think he's a better three-point shooter. I'm a little bit better on the mid-range.
CJ, I'm going to let you take this. Talk to your brother right now.
First of all, congratulations on winning a championship with Fenerbahce. Heck of a career you've had so far. How does it feel to win a championship after playing for 15 years and being able to do it on this stage in Turkey?
Pretty much just all the work, all the effort, all the practices, everything we did, we sacrificed, it makes it worth it. So, it's just a blessing. It's hard to get here, and I'm just blessed to be part of the Fener organization and to be part of this championship.
Come on, CJ, let's talk it up. Eric is one of the coldest mid-range players in European history, and he's done it at the highest stage. You're a champion now, and it's great to have your baby brother here to watch on.
Yeah, nothing better. I mean, anytime you can win something in front of family, they give you support, they give you encouragement, they know what you went through, how hard you worked. Man, I'm just blessed to have him here, and I'm just thankful that they were able to see us raise a trophy. And shout out to all these fans. I mean, they came out, they packed the arena. I mean, it's all yellow in here, and with that opportunity, we could not win. So I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we got this, and I'm just so happy.
And CJ, look, the pride you must be feeling right now to see him getting it done. I mean, how does that feel as you come all the way to Abu Dhabi?
It's amazing to be able to watch him win a championship. It's something that we played a game for, so for him to be able to do that is special, and thankful I could be here and be able to see it. All the years of hard work is paying off.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Eric. You are a EuroLeague champion.
Again, just look at the contrast in emotions. Jerome Blossom game with that marathon effort in the semi-final. We logged close to 40 minutes, 37 minutes to be precise. Coach Šarūnas Jasikevičius, we're about to hear from him in a few moments' time, but Blossom game, absolutely everything in a bid to help his team. Not enough to get it done tonight.
Coach Saras Yasikubatu, say now 5-time champion, once as a coach, how does it feel?
Feels amazing. I've been chasing this trophy for a while now. Had a lot of heartbreaks. Stick with it. These guys got the job done.
The only thing you did not do tonight was step on the court and play with them. You lived every play of that game with your team.
No, I stepped on the court. I got a bunch of warnings for stepping on the court. I stepped on the court. I really wanted to play. I know Billy wanted to play. Congratulations to him and to Monaco. Oh, man.
Look, Coach, to Monaco. Awesome. They were an incredible opponent, a worthy opponent, and to get through them means you are worthy champions.
Yeah, exactly. I think we said before the Final Four, all of the teams who come here, they can win. Monaco could have won. I mean, they're a great team. Physicality is incredible. Guys leaving their hearts out. Hats off for them.
They will be back, but for now, this is your party. I've seen you celebrate already with your family, about to lift the trophy with the team. You will just soak this up. Forget the off-season now. Do you reflect on the journey you've been on this whole year?
I mean, it was difficult at times. There's no question it was difficult. We found a way. We found a way to stick together. We went through the bad times and survived in some parts of the season. And I believe from January, we played very good basketball.
Coach, congratulations. You're a EuroLeague champion.
What a wonderful moment for Coach Arūnas Jasikevičius. He knows what that feels like as a player, but now as a coach, in his 5th consecutive Final Four as a coach, he can finally call himself a champion.
Coach Spanulis, disappointment, but small margins. 2 great teams, only one can win.
Yeah, this is basketball, this is life, we fight. I think we have the same stats, same offensive rebounds, same percentages everywhere. We have more turnovers and they had more free throws. And it was a tough game. Congratulations to Fener. And I think we make an amazing season. We deserve, both teams will deserve to win, but only one in the end win.
They say it's a game of runs. They had a start of the 4th quarter where they held you 4 minutes without any points, gave them a little bit of breathing room, but your guys dug down and fought back, and you've got to give credit to your team and your fans as well.
Yes, of course, and I think that we didn't move the ball good against switches. We were passive, and they make some very big shots, and that it was good defense, but offense was better.
Coach, thank you very much.
So Coach Vasilis Spanulis bitterly disappointed. Only took the job, remember, in November of last year, but what an impact he had with his crew over at AS Monaco in his rookie campaign. So the flight time play of the game comes from the first quarter of the semi-final when Ken Birch topped the tables with this rim-rattling jam against Panathinaikos, and again going for a ride on the rim, just adding a little bit of flight time to his numbers. He's going to get himself some air miles.
You're trying to keep me going on this, aren't you? 1.79 seconds in the air is pretty good flight time if you ask me.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the trophy ceremony for the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four here in Abu Dhabi. First, the runner-up trophy.
And to present the runner-up trophy, we have EuroLeague CEO Paulius Mantiunas and His Excellency Saud Abdulaziz Al-Hassani, Undersecretary of the Department of Culture and Tourism. They're presenting the trophy to Monaco captain Mike James.
So the presentation party in position by EuroLeague CEO Mr. Paulius Mantiunas. Calling Mike James to the center circle. Undersecretary of the Department of Culture on hand to present the trophy as well. But Mike James, what a servant he has been for EuroLeague basketball over the years, for AS Monaco during his tenure there. In his first final appearance, not able to get it done. But again, magnificent effort.
Yeah, tough game from Mike also. Didn't get it going. didn't get his team involved during that game, and then tried to take over himself at the end. Just couldn't get a knockdown. Let's see the final presentation now. MVP.
EuroLeague Finals MVP is Nigel Hayes-Davis.
You gotta love it, my man.
Well, Nigel Hayes-Davis declared as the Turkish Airlines Final Four MVP in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. Outstanding performance in the championship game. What an effort. 14 out of 14 from the free throw line to lead his team in scoring with 23 points in the championship game. He's getting himself 1 million miles, which is going to be a few trips around the world with Turkish Airlines for he, his friends and family.
And his cat. Hey man, look, this is a moment where he deserves it. Man, I've talked to him. I've been around him so many times. I talked to him before the Madrid game. He came up to me in Madrid before the Madrid game. He said, man, he's like, you know, the worst thing I ever did was set a standard, because at that point he had 3 bad games in a row. He said, the worst thing I ever did as a player was set a standard that people expect from me. And I looked him in the face and said, you know what, man, the best thing you've ever done was set a standard. I said, you're going to keep doing it, and he's done it, man. He went out at 33 in that game and went off. Came up to me after the game and said, man, thanks for the words. And right now, you see your EuroLeague MVP right there, man. That's a great moment, and again, to see this is just so painful.
It's time to
We've all been there.
Presenting the awards, President of EuroLeague, Mr. Deshan Bodiroga. His Excellency, Mohammed Khalifa Al-Mamurak, Chairman, Department of Culture and Tourism here in Abu Dhabi.
So EuroLeague basketball president, Mr. Dan Bodiroga.
And now fans, the players from your championship team,
Fenerbahce EuroLeague team commemorated during the festivities over this Final Four period.
Number 0, Eric McCollum.
Well, Eric McCollum, in the presence of his brother CJ,
Number 1,
up to collect his miniature trophy, and what a performance he put forth in the semi-final when he put that 6-0 burst together, 3 of 6 from downtown, and his 13 points.
Yeah, sometimes it's not about what you do throughout the weekend. It's about what you do in certain moments. And when they needed a boost in that semifinal game, Eric McCollum was the guy who got it for him with that run.
So Wade Baldwin sporting battle wounds. There's grazes on his shoulder as he back into the arena after being ejected. Nicolo Meili claiming a title. Sertac Shandler with the crown.
They let Wade back in.
Remember, Sertac Shandler taking that 2021 title with Anadolu Efes Istanbul. He's crossed the Bosphorus to get a title with Fenerbahce. Tarik Baburovic, what a postseason he has had.
Yeah, pretty impressive. And he got a little, we talked about getting out of sorts when he got in that little battle with Strzel early in the game. And didn't have the type of game that he's had over the last 5 or 6, but that doesn't matter right now.
23,
Nigel Hayes-Davis collecting his title. Devon Hall has been sensational over the course of the Final Four. Dechampierre, dependable as ever. Marko Guduric, the player of the game in the championship finale. Artur Jagars, unable to suit up and compete in the final, but a crucial component of the victory. Gilson Bango, a late addition, signing in February of this year, but a key component of their success in the back part of the season.
Yeah, they're all key components around, because if they're not playing on the court, they're practicing every day. They're making it tough on the first team, on the second team, they're making it tough on anybody. And Sardis is going to make it tough on every part of the team. And this is the moment where you love your coach, finally.
Bonzi Colston and Ken Birch, those frontline stalwarts rounding out the players. And now, Coach Sarunas Jasakaivicius up to receive his miniature. And what a year it has been for him. To Alexander Gamelski, EuroLeague Coach of the Year. And now claiming his first EuroLeague crown. Absolutely sensational run as a coach in his 6th Final Four, 5 of them consecutive.
President hands over the trophy of the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague Final Four here in Abu Dhabi to the captain, of Fenerbahce, Beko, Istanbul.
So all of the front and back office staff of Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul being invited up onto the podium to share this special moment. Dejan Bodiroga prepares to present the trophy in recognition of all of the hard work they have done over the course of this season.
And here is your captain, Mehdi Mahmutoglu.
Veli Mahmutoglu invited to take the trophy presentation, didn't feature in the final four, but the long-serving stalwart, Fener captain, and now he's orchestrating proceedings from the center court logo.
Nigel wants to get this on camera. They gave him that cold bath the last time.
Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul are the 2025 Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champions. It is unconfined joy for the team from the Asian side of the Bosphorus Strait. Golden ticker tape being shot out from a cannon and descending from the rafters as well, because Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul are the champions indeed, claiming the second title in history, adding to the triumph that they enjoyed on home soil in 2017. And here in Abu Dhabi, the capital of the United Arab Emirates, it is EuroLeague triumph number 2 for Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul. Coach Sarunas Yasikevicius taking his first one as a sideline strategist, and Nicolo Meli sharing this moment with family. What a magnificent servant he has been for EuroLeague basketball. Finally, he can call himself a champion.
Yeah, he was around at Fenerbahce early on, but Sarah's wife checking in also, and it's a family affair when it finally happens, because everybody, your kids, your wife, everybody around you has put in so much effort and so much time and so much work, dealt with your triumphs, dealt with your difficult moments, your losses, and now everybody gets to enjoy the most important moment of the season.
All smiles in and around that cohort of Fenerbahce personnel, and leading the cheers is Coach Sarunas Yasikevicius. And again, what a tenure he has enjoyed as a coach. The 2018 Final Four with Žalgiris Kaunas, then 3 Final Fours in a row with FC Barcelona, switching to Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul in December of 2023, getting them to the Final Four at the end of that season, and back again this time. As he said to Martin Hanlon, it's been a long road to take the title, but finally they have triumphed, and Coach Sarunas Yasikevicius, a EuroLeague title as a coach, adding to the 4 that he won as a player with 3 different teams.
You know, Ron, I think over the last 5 years, we've really seen him grow as a coach. It's a hard transition to make when you're such a great player into the coaching world, and he's done it successfully, but he never got to this moment right here. And this is the only thing that guys like him and Spanulis, you see his wife in tears, that really count as success. And this is the moment that he can lift that title up, and his wife knows how much that means to him because she's lived through the heartaches.
What a wonderful moment for Nicolo Meli. His daughter more interested in the confetti that covers the court here at the Etihad Arena. And these celebrations likely to continue long into the Abu Dhabi night here.
We look forward to seeing you all again next year.
And that trophy, so hard-earned. Personnel changes, late additions, dealing with injuries. Remember, they were blown out by 30 on their home floor by AS Monaco back in round 15.
And the week after that, they lost by 27 to his old team, Barcelona. They went 1-5 through December. I told you the other day they took a little bit more of a Christmas break than they needed to, but they're 18-3 since then, and that's all that really matters.
So dancing abounds on the hardwood here. Let's hear from Nigel Hayes-Davis.
Nigel Hayes-Davis, EuroLeague champion, EuroLeague Final Four MVP. How does that sound to you?
It's great. I worked very hard the last 2 years, 4 years of trying to be present, and I've kind of like played this out in my mind for the last month, this past year. So now that I'm here, it kind of feels like I've already done it. And I don't look and feel as excited as I am, but I'm extremely happy, extremely proud. We worked very hard all year, a lot of ups and downs like every season, but it's tremendous to be champions.
You don't have to wear the heart on the sleeve because we've all witnessed the work that you put in, the standard you set for yourself, which you were critical of yourself about a month afterwards, but your whole team has raised up, and we've got to say that was a championship performance this weekend.
Absolutely. I've been saying that all year. We have a great team, emphasis on team. We played against a lot of guys, a lot of teams this year that have really great players, and we have a really, really tremendous team. Everybody stepped up. On Friday, everybody stepped up. Today, it was different guys that stepped up, and we've been doing that all year. When one guy went down, another guy stepped up. We lost Scotty at the beginning of the year, and those are big shoes to fill. We did that, and strength in numbers. We did it by committee. Great staff, great organization, and huge special shout out to the team and everyone that supports Fener.
Now you said that you've dreamed this, you've played it out in your mind over and over again. I've got to say the way you are, particularly at the free throw line, it's if you're not. It just happens in metronomical. 19 in a row. Have you got any plans to miss a free throw soon?
Hopefully not. I mean, but that comes from I'm really, really taking a step in how big mental preparation and manifestation is. I saw a video of Ronaldo. He says a little phrase to himself before he takes a free kick. And once I found out what he says, I just changed it from football terms to basketball terms. So if you watch me at the free throw line, I have the same speech routine I give myself. I go up and I shoot the free throws. So I'm glad I made all of them today. And the most important thing to my mother is when I make my free throws. So if I miss them, she's pissed. So as long as I keep making them, she'll be happy.
And we go, okay, a little light-hearted question. The cat, what's he doing right now, and what's his name?
Oh, Sly, my baby. I don't know what he's doing right now. He has no idea what's going on right now. I'm going to come back, and he's just going to be like, where were you at all day? A couple meows. We'll get some little nose kisses in, but yeah, I'll see him in a little bit. I'm sure he's not thinking about me. He's a cat, so.
Maybe he can get his dinner out of the MVP trophy or something. Nigel, congratulations. Thank you very much to you and Sly.
So Nigel Hayes-Davis, calm after the Final Four MVP award in his favor for a terrific performance. 14 out of 14 from the charity stripe. 26 consecutive free throws made when you add that to the 12 straight that he had made coming into the championship game. The EuroLeague's all-time single-game leading scorer of the modern era. 50 points on the board against Alba in March of last year in round 32. Truly delivering. Not a spectacular performance, but so consistent. Giving up his body, flirting with a double-double, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. And again, the hustle plays that don't show up on the stat sheet. A fantastic display from Fenerbahce's leader.
I think that was the most important part of it. You can make all the free throws you want, all the thing, but players follow their leaders and they follow what they do. We saw 2 or 3 plays where he got on the ground where you don't typically see basketball players get on the ground and go after the rock, and he did it. He sets an example, and it becomes contagious for the rest of the squad.
So a tradition that began in college basketball, the trimming of the twine. Jilson Bango standing strong, that pillar of support beneath Marko Guduric, the game's MVP, carrying out that traditional cord-cutting ceremony as we take another look at the moment of confirmation, the trophy presentation. Marko Guduric, the player of the game, alongside the Fener captain Melih Mahmutoglu, hoisting that trophy aloft, a moment that these players and everyone associated with them will remember forever.
You don't forget this moment, Ryan. It goes down in history, goes down in your mind, because in all reality, it's what you play for. You're making millions, you're famous, you're well known, you might have your Instagram account, you might have a cat that you picked up, whatever, but this is the moment when you look back that you remember the most. But like Spanulis said the other day, 17 years he suffered to win 3 championships, so there's a lot of suffering that's gone. with that feeling. You could see it. And Coach Sarah's wife also, she knows how much it means to her husband and the rest of his family.
This moment of joy will be comparatively brief, but my goodness, it is something that this group will be able to call upon and harness as they look to go forward and repeat, looking ahead to next season. And given the mentality of many of these players on this squad and indeed the coaching staff, this is likely to be a brief celebration before they start looking ahead to next year and put out that mantra of let's do it again.
Did you just throw out the repeat already?
I'm thinking what they're going to be thinking. They're trying to anticipate what they're thinking.
Man, they're not thinking repeat yet. They're thinking that next year sometime. Give these guys a break, will you? Give this poor guy. He only needs to worry about the Turkish league right now. That's all he needs to worry about. Forget repeat. It's taken him so long to get this one. It's been such a hard road that he's going to enjoy this for his moment, man, a moment he deserves.
Nicolo Meli. So many runs deep into the postseason, final 4 appearances. And again, didn't play the minutes he's perhaps used to getting, given his talents and abilities, but my goodness, he was dependable when called upon and brought all of his experience and ability to the fore over the course of the final 4.
That's called quality minutes, man. When you're a vet, you just got to get in and do what's asked of you and figure out what part of the game that you need to take care of. And Meli did it, whether it was picking up offensive fouls, getting offensive rebounds, getting on the floor and getting loose balls. Meli did everything his team needed to get him to this point, and he's celebrating every minute of it with his young daughter.
Remember when Fenerbahce made their 3rd consecutive final after winning in Istanbul? He joined the club the following year, only to be bested by Real Madrid. And perhaps that goes some way to explaining the emotions that he was demonstrating when it began to sink in that he is a EuroLeague champion, as is that man, the EuroLeague Coach of the Year, capping what has been a magnificent campaign by guiding Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul to their 2nd EuroLeague title.
That little kid on the right there with the hat on, that guy can play too, man. That's Coach's son. I saw him play in a tournament I was coaching in Barcelona, and he's got game too. He's going to be around sometime.
So far from the celebrating crowd, Coach Runis Jastakevicius just enjoying some quality time with his family. And again, they have been his support system, his group that provide that support when things aren't going well. Imagine going home as a head coach after you've lost by 30 on home floor and then get beaten by almost 30 the following week. It's those people, those closest to him, that have to pick up the pieces and continue to encourage and inspire.
And pretty much have to deal with it, because it's not easy to deal with something like that.
So some of the highlights from tonight's championship game here at the Etihad Arena. It was Fenerbahce who put the first score on the board, but that was their only lead of the first quarter. Devon Hall, sensational once again, giving his team the final 5 points of the second quarter to put them up by 2.
Yeah, 1 point or another. It's the team that gets over the physicality and be able to make a run. Guduric doing what he needed to do in the third and fourth quarter to give his team the run. Couple threes over the top of Tyson, finishing out the game. But give Monaco some credit here, man. It's an incredible season for them. They've gotten to the final one more time. Can't finish off. Spanulis has to go back to the drawing board, try to figure out how to get back here. He knows his co-part, Jastakevicius, just took quite a while. You see that big threes by Guduric right there.
And that prompted jubilant celebrations over on the Fenerbahce bench, and this was when the final buzzer sounded. What a moment between the two men who won the EuroLeague title together as players. Congratulations and commiserations being exchanged. But at the trophy presentation, it is Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul who celebrate as the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague champions of 2025. A final look inside the numbers. Turnovers hampering AS Monaco, and the bench points from Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul, a key statistic in that hard-fought battle between two worthy finalists.
That's when you talk about team victories. You talk about the guys that are coming off your bench and contributing, and that's exactly what Fenerbahce did. 24-4 bench points, Fenerbahce over AS Monaco.
So the roll call of champions has been updated to include the 2025 victors, and Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul make it 2 title triumphs here in Abu Dhabi, adding to the title that they won on home soil in 2017. Well, it has been a special EuroLeague campaign as we have celebrated and commemorated the 25th anniversary of the modern era of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. We had legends from the modern era in and around the Final Four festivities. They featured as coaches strategizing this championship game. They featured as players out on the floor. And my goodness, how much inspiration must the competing teams have taken from their forebears who have walked this path as EuroLeague titleists.
And a few of them many times over. A lot of guys here have won their first championship cup that they're able to rise. A couple of these guys, like Kyle Hines, that we just saw, he's raised that cup too many times, but it never gets any worse, man. It's a sweet moment. Everyone is worth it. It's a full year of hard work, 34 games, 5-game playoffs, a Final Four, and just an incredible moment.
What a wonderful moment for Devon Hall. He has been sensational. The Final Four throughout the playoffs, a real X-factor contributor, along with so many of his teammates. Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul, it was their leader, Nigel Hayes-Davis, who got the Final Four MVP, but this a triumph for the entire team here in Abu Dhabi. So here, the moment of confirmation when Marko Guduric hoisting the trophy aloft after orchestrating that rocking back and forth. And this, the sweetest feeling, as Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul enjoying their triumph.
Yeah, Ron, it's a moment we just want to thank everybody from IMG, the production company, Dom, Ali, all the guys that helped us out through the season. It's a beautiful moment for us. A moment to unfortunately say goodbye and see you next season. But man, it's been an incredible season. Once again, thank you guys for everything. Ron, just another year. Pleasure to sit on your right-hand side and be able to do a final with you, man.
Feelings mutual as we take another look at the images of the jubilant scenes that was prompted by Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul hoisting the trophy aloft here in Abu Dhabi. Here, this jewel in the desert has seen Fenerbahce prevail to take the second title in their illustrious history. For all the team, bye for now.
It is destination Abu Dhabi.
Feeling it offensively right now.
Kendrick Nunn will take no further part in the game. Oh, what a score! With the final nail in the coffin of the defending champion.
Well, you will play better on Sunday. I'm the lead.
Oh my goodness! Look at this! Showtime here in Abu Dhabi. You can see what it means to the Olympiacos fans. Beautiful pass by Mike James. AS Monaco are going to advance to the finals for the first time.
Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul and AS Monaco prepare for a basketball duel in the desert for the right to be called champions in the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague. We are underway. What footwork in the lane! What a save! That is sensational! Dropped in the eye of Mike James. Nigel Hayes-Davis, they break the deadlock. You have a sense of destiny. Fenerbahce Beko Istanbul take the EuroLeague title.
Turkish Airlines EuroLeague in association with